Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnek here for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnek. A little bit early. I was planning on coming on live in about 25 minutes, which I will obviously be continuing to be live. I'm going to start now and continue through that period. I thought we'd get on a bit early because we have opportunities perhaps in the broadcast to have a number of guests on over time. Aparna Saini will be joining us. Borem Majunda might be joining us. He'll be joining us in the post day one interview or actual broadcast. That broadcast will happen about 3 a.m. my time, which is roughly what 11. No, it's about 10:30 India time, 6 p.m. England time. So that's after the first day's play. If everything goes to plan, they're apparently going to have a full day's play. We've just heard from George DeBell from ESPN Cricket Info that Ollie Pope will miss out on the first test, so he's already out. They've lost a further player. They've lost Ben Stokes due to a mental issue. He is out, and also Ollie Pope is out. He sustained a niggle, and so Johnny Baird will be back in the lineup, which is not necessarily a loss. I kind of think that's maybe a bit of a strengthening. Yash Gupta, nice to talk to you. Nice to meet you there online. We're on early, so we're on a little bit early. So this will be a longer broadcast. It'll go, well into the start of play. We'll have the toss, the tantrums, and the what they call teams tosses and tantrums, which is something I probably haven't actually labelled that way, but that's effectively what we've got here: the teams tosses and tantrums. It's going to be a pretty significant day. This is the first day of the first test of the 5-test series between India and England. And of course, just heard that Ollie Pope's out, Ben Stokes is out. The likelihood is they're probably going to keep Sibley and Burns as the opening pair. They'll probably have Crawley staying at first drop, Root at second. Then Ollie Pope is now out, so they might have Bairstow in there with Butler. Lawrence may figure in the lineup, Leach may figure in the lineup, but then you'll definitely have the likes of Broad and Anderson with either Mark Wood or Robinson into the bowling attack as well. That's the fairly predictable 11 or thereabouts. That's what we're looking at having. In the case of India, there's a lot more conjecture over the Indian team. Of course, you've got a combination of Shubman Gill is out, as we know, injured. Looks like he's already back home, so he's out of the series by the looks of things. Then that also leaves Mayank Agarwal out as well, having been hit on the head by a Mohammad Siraj bouncer in the nets. I would argue that Agarwal will be out for the first test. So Rohit Sharma, who is predicted to open, will have to open with somebody. Now, whether it's Pujara moving up from 3 to the opening spot, or whether it's going to be Vihari coming into the lineup, or more so, fair bit of conjecture as to whether KL Rahul will actually take up that opening spot. So they've got a fair bit of an option there. So that's not an issue really. You would expect then Pujara, let's say he stays at 3 and something like Vihari or Rahul comes in to open. Then you'll have the following. You'll have obviously Kohli following Pujara. Rahane if fit, which he did have a hamstring, and so did Kohli with his back, but they're both looking like they're in. Then you'll have potentially either Vihari coming a bit later in the order if they put Rahul open, who knows, and then Rishabh Pant. Now, the main conjecture, and it looks as though they're probably going to keep to that side, it probably will be Jadeja and Ashwin both playing. If they do not play, it'll probably be Jadeja playing. Then like the bowling lineup, Bumrah, Shami, Ishant Sharma in that lineup as well. The only question is whether Siraj is in contention. He certainly is, or whether he'll be kept for a later test. Umesh Yadav probably not. But then there's Shardul Thakur being looked at as the genuine all-rounder in the team. You could argue in place of Hardik Pandya. So there's a fair mix. I'd say that the group of players I've just mentioned will be in the 11. It's unlikely that, Prithvi Shaw, of course, and Sky Kumar, as in Yadav, Sky Kumar Yadav, they both are in transition from the Sri Lankan isolation to be here, to be there in London. In fact, not in London, but in Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge for the first test. So that'll be certainly a part of that as well. But we haven't mentioned anything about, of course, Eshwarwan, and he's meant to be the deputy opening bat there as well. So is he going to get a Guernsey ahead of Rahul and Vihari? We don't know. Now, Akant Chandra is saying the Rains are winning this. Well, yes, there is a suggestion there might be rain on the last 2 days. The first 2 to 3 days look like there's fair weather, meaning that play will be undertaken. The ground looks extremely, or at least the pitch area looks extremely green. So the position of a spinner may be unlikely, which would probably mean that India may only go with one spinner, and you may actually find that England will go with no spinners, which will be, well, it's not exactly a surprise. England didn't go in with a spinner into the match against New Zealand, a couple of tests they had earlier on in the year. And of course, in the World Test Championship, which I've got hats there, you can see the white hat there, there's a blue hat there as well, of the World Test Championship. Those particular match, the World Test Championship, well, India used 2 spinners and probably proved to be quite ineffective. May have been a mistake. They could have perhaps done with a Untitled Chapter on the side. And there's a lot of discussion about his position in there. This is also the 199th live show that I've done, 199. So that means the 200th show will be the post day 1 session, which I will have at a very early time in the morning for me. I'm hoping to have, Burry Majunda, if he's available. He's obviously, Burry Majunda is an Olympic tragic, as well as a cricket tragic, as well as a sporting tragic, a learned scholar that he is. He is actually in Tokyo in Japan. They're following the Olympics, where India has actually won their, I believe, their 2nd bronze medal. They got 1 silver. They got 3 medals all up. They may, in fact, figure in some more. They're not going to get a gold in the men's hockey. They've been relegated to the bronze medal playoff. In that particular, Australia beat Germany and Belgium beat India. So Australia played Germany in the gold medal playoff and India played Belgium in the bronze playoff. But Indian women's team actually knocked off Australia, as we probably all heard, which was quite a boil over. And in that case, India will play for a potential gold medal in that event, which will be quite exciting. That's meant to be happening. I don't know whether it's today or tomorrow. I can't remember now, but we'll find out very shortly what's going on there. So there's a bit of a briefing at this point. There'll be guests coming on. We're hoping to have quite a few guests, but, time will tell, availability and all. But I'm expecting some of the Indian contingent. Hopefully David Graven, he may have some time. He's travelling at the moment. I think he's in Southampton somewhere. But he'll be available for future time slots. Adam Holyoke and Monty Panasame will join as well. I've got some Barmy Army interests, Barmy Army that are actually in the ground as we speak. They may join around another 15 or so minutes, and then we'll have a good hour discussion on the teams, the toss, the tantrums, or the toss team tantrums. Probably better order, in effect. So that's toss team tantrums would probably be the right order. Okay, so that's the plan at this point. Any questions you've got, you just need to ask. I'm just looking at some of the funniest dismissals of Inzamam Mulhaq. I've got a video going there in silence, and it's quite funny to see. Inzamam Mulhaq, he's not funny. He's a great player. He was very, very, very highly rated player, and I've got a lot of time for him as a person too. He was quite incredible. I met him in Amritsar in a hotel. I can't remember whether it may have been one of the Hyatt or Marriott, I'm not sure, which is in Amritsar, and we met there over breakfast with the likes of. I was with Inzamam Mulhaq and his manager, and also Harbhajan Singh. I think Rajesh Kumar from Brisbane here in Australia. So there's a comment there. Norman, do you think India and Australia need to change the approach of playing their backup size against wider against weaker teams, results aren't just on this. Australian Bangladesh and the US are like, well, it's very sloppy. The Australian team's extremely sloppy at the moment. I've got no time for the way they're playing. They were absolutely smacked by Bangladesh, let's be honest. It's very uncalled for. And he's saying it's the second side. Well, there's a makeup of really good players apparently on that side, but they're only proving a point they shouldn't be in the final World Cup side, that's for sure. And India, Sri Lanka, well, it was great to see a lot of Indian players go to Guernsey. They got beaten in the end in one of the last games, or the big last game, so it wasn't the best of form, and it was pretty sloppy as well. Yeah, I get your point, whether they should do that or not, but they're giving players exposure to the highest level, but they're meant to be performing, not failing. That's the issue that I would expect them to thump the opposition. Norman, we Indians are best in hockey. You certainly are. You beat the women, and you've done very well in the men's, but you didn't quite get through in the top four. You're playing off a bronze with Germany, and we're going to be playing Belgium for the gold. So, yeah, really nice beard. Well, it's just pure laziness, I'm afraid. Pure laziness. You know, it's grey as anything, which is terrible. But, yeah, I'm having got grey hair, as you can see. But, yeah, it's probably going to be gone. I normally like going to a barber. I love to be shaven properly and clean. It's a lovely event, like a massage and relaxation. So I don't do it at home. So that's why I'm shaving. And with lockdown, you're pretty much not able to move too much. What are the Ash Gupta's is asking? What are the players to watch for? Well, there's one player that I'm really keen to watch. Is the fact that Ben Stokes is not around, and also now we've heard Ollie Pope, and they're bringing Butler and Bairstow. But the player I think we need to watch is Sam Curran. Sam Curran proved in India that he can bat and bowl, and he will be an X factor that will probably try to be the new, not new, but be in the mode of a Ben Stokes. Whether he plays up the order, I don't know. But at this point in time, you'd have to argue that Sam Curran is one to watch. Anderson Broad at home, especially Broad in his home ground, Nottingham, there in Trent Bridge, it's quite a spectacle to watch him bowl there. They'll be worth watching. In terms of the England batting, well, Root's there, but there's no guarantee any of the batters will do well. As far as India's concerned, I'm excited to see how, Punt goes in England's conditions. It'd be a good test for him. I think Punt will certainly be one to watch. Shardul Thakur, be careful. If he's given the all-rounder berth, given that license to bat and bowl, he could prove pretty hard to get away. India would also like to bowl Siraj. Siraj could be a real X factor in the series. He's not stated as being the opening set of bowlers, but he'll get a Guernsey if it's not this much. England certainly are going to come out strong again. Manu John, you're right. Good evening, thank you. Ollie Robinson could be dangerous given the conditions. Yeah, he certainly may be selected ahead of Mark Wood. We're not sure. Mark Wood won't play the whole series. Maybe they'll keep him out of this and give Ollie Robinson a go. Ollie Robinson obviously played well against New Zealand and was dumped unceremoniously because of that stupid ban regarding some Twitter, Instagram thing which happened years ago, which I think is pathetic they even bothered to talk about. Yeah, you tried. Actually, you did talk about that, but we talk about it again because we're here now today. Ollie Pope's out of the England team. Just in case you've just joined, Ollie Pope is out. He has a niggle, which means an injury of some sort, and he's now ruled out with Bairstow likely to come in. Pretty sure we'll get a chance to open perhaps in the series, especially with Agarwal and Gill. Well, Gill's out for the series. Agarwal out for the first, maybe more. I would reckon that Shaw would get a go some stage. Sky Kuma's also floating around. They do need a specialist open in there in the place of Agarwal and Gill. So whether they put Fahari or Rahul there, it's going to be interesting. If one of those two play well, they may solidify their position. But Eshawaran, he was picked on this tour to bat as a specialist opening batter. Realistically, you would argue that he perhaps should be given the nod to open in place of Agarwal. We'll see. They may surprise us to put him in. Being the first test, they may not. But I actually think that really, if Echelon was meant to be the first an opening bat specialist replacement, well, then he should be in. Well, we haven't got Munchie on yet, Manu, John. He'll be on shortly, I'm sure, and he'll be able to tell us whether there's any rain that's going to spoil the day, but it doesn't look like it. Chris Vernon's going to be there, I think. He may join us. He's also training, playing, coaching, he's doing all sorts of things. So he will be with us, and both Bankster Boy and of course Muncie will be around to tell us about the weather. But at this point, it looks like game's on. When will Apana join? Well, she's a notorious late starter. She knows what time the session's on, so she should try to make it on. Today it's all sun. Okay, good. What's your honest take on this bloke, Short? Has been exposed enough technically till now? Look, I think he's proven to be a very good player. He needs not to be told that as often as he has been, because I think that's gone to his head a little bit. I think he needs to. He was also the under-19 Indian captain, which won a World Cup. I think it was against Australia. He really, is lauded over as being a future, well, maybe not quite Tendulkar, but certainly up there. And he's still very young. Yeah, I don't think he's overrated. I think he's on mark. He'll just give him a bit of time. Can India go, but with both spinners, only one will choose physical. I've said earlier that Abhinav Kumar, I did say a bit earlier that if they're going to play one spinner, it's probably going to be Jadeja, even though he didn't play well in the World Test Championship. I think that's what they'll do if they're going to have one. But they could play Jadeja as an all-rounder and have Ashwin as the only spinner. You just don't know. It does look like they're going to put both blokes in. I've got a feeling they're at least for the first test. But if I were to choose, I'd pick Jadeja, actually, even though his form wasn't good in the World Test Championship. I think he would be the more likely, because he's left-hand batting as well, and he does bat well. They could deal with that on England surfaces. I think that, albeit Broad Anderson do bowl well, I think Broad does bowl better against left-handers than say, Anderson does. Anderson doesn't get that much success against left-handers. He's more of a traditional bowler to right-handers. So, yeah. Dinesh Kumar, will Ashwin be successful this summer in England? What's your take? Well, Ashwin will figure somewhere on the line where the wicket accepts more spin, yes. But it looks like the Nottingham, as in the Trent Bridge pitch, is a green top. It'll be a seaming, swinging type wicket. Favours England ultimately. He may get a Guernsey either at Lords or one of the ladder grounds, which does take spin more. So Ashwin's always going to figure. Ashwin's a great bowler, and will probably go down in history as one of the better, or if not the best, probably close to the best spin bowler that India's ever had. His record's certainly heading in that direction, heading north. He's well up there with the number of wickets he's taken, and he's going to surpass most. He'll eventually go past Harbhajan Singh and the like. Chandra Singh, looking good in my beard. Well, it's not Christmas yet, so Father Christmas is not yet being used. But yeah, I'll get rid of this beard before it's very white, isn't it? Extremely white. Will India go for Vihari? It's a very interesting question because he deserves it. He was in the test squad up until he got injured earlier this year. He's been in England a fair while. He's been acclimatised, you would argue, as someone has played a bit of county cricket. Rahul's just not quite getting the exposure he should. He's also almost a preserved keeper. Redmond Saha's not there, or at least he's not apparently there. No, actually, Saha got COVID, didn't he? He was in with Punt and like. Look, I think he will. At some stage for this test series, Vihari will go to Guernsey. Whether it's up front, who knows? It's going to be between him and Rahul for the opener, or even Eswaran as well. Yeah, Vihari did well all round. Did Vihari play at the Gabba? He was in the Sydney Test. I thought he injured himself in the Sydney Test. I thought Vihari didn't play Stunner. I don't think Vihari played in the Adelaide Test, in the Gabba Test. He played in Sydney, and he was batting with Ashwin, and he got injured. He's got a hamstring. I think he was out for that match. Pretty sure. Will India drop Ashwin and choose Charnel? Well, don't ever say that they're not going to drop Ashwin. They're not going to. The word drop implies Ashwin's out. When you use the term drop a player, you drop a player that's out of form. If you put the composite of a side together and you put someone over another, it's because of the horses for courses ground relationship. Now, Shardul Thakur being a so-called all-rounder, not unlike Jadeja, could be favoured over Ashwin based on the not needing so much spin and needing some of a seaming of swinging bowl. That could be the reason. So dropped, replaced, you could argue. Will you go with 5 bowlers, 3 seamers, and Ashwin and Jadeja? Well, that's what they did in the World Test Championship. It didn't work, did it? If they've got Shardul on the side, then they may well go with that. But then both Shardul and Jadeja can act as batters, which would mean perhaps if the Hurry would not get a Guernsey. Because if they open with Cahill Rahul, with, say, Robert Sharma, with Pujara at 3, which he will be, he'll be in the side. Kohli, Rahane will be there. So that's 5. And Punt in the 6th position. You really only need 7 and 8 to cover. You've got the 3 bowlers, pace bowlers being 9, 10, 11. You need 7 and 8 to cover. And they could well go with the Jadeja and Shardul as a combination and not have Ashwin, or Jadeja and Ashwin and not have Shardul. But that's probably where they're going to go. There's a lot of discussion. I even saw Kohli talking about Shardul. You know, he does favour Shardul. I think he even favours Siraj, but we'll see. Those players will figure in this series. Just a matter of when. Yeah, the Stokes break to me is a very interesting one. The way that Joe Root was talking, it looks like more of a longer-term problem than just one series. Whether they're just keeping him under wraps for the Ashes at the end of the year, we don't know. But there's something really misleading about this the finger injury. Don't forget, he came out of the blue and played in the T20 ODI series against Pakistan. Played well, seemed fine, but wasn't selected originally for that series, so he came out to play that. So he apparently has a sore finger or injured finger. Well, that's rubbish. They shouldn't even be talking about this. It's a mental illness problem that he has. Pujara's performance is degrading. Will he make any change? No. Pujara's been rock solid for so long. He's failed a bit, yes, but I don't think he's out the door yet. Hamid looks a seasoned guy technically. Saw the Durham match, his solid defence and good. Yes, he certainly does. He's pressing very hard for the opening position. There is some talk about him opening, but the reality is that they may well stick with Sibley and Burns. They use both of them for the series against New Zealand, and Burns and Sibley had varying levels of success. Sibley scored a 50 plus in the match, which they basically drew. So. And maybe he's redeemed himself there. Maybe we give another chance. Hamid's very, very close. Don't worry. They're very close to putting him in. And there is fight. Jadeja will be missing. I don't think so. I think Ashwin will be the one that will be out. My personal thoughts. Punt at number 6 in England is probably a one spot above he should bat the number 7. Yeah, I kind of agree with them. Who are they going to put in? It's going to be interesting. They've lost Gill and Agarwal already. Ishwaran is there, but Rahul's there, Vihari's there. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they want more bowlers, so they may still push Punt up. So I'm predicting a first inning score. Well, let's just assume India bat first. Or they win the toss and bat, which they probably will still do. Look, this is England. This is Nottingham. This is Trent Bridge. Broad and Anderson on the attack. 250 is a pretty okay score. 300 is very impressive. Anything above that's going to be bonus. I think the scores will be around that 250 mark throughout the whole test, and could well be through the whole season. I'm predicting that we'll get low scores, and anyway, it could be lower than well and truly lower than that, because the bowling attacks on both sides are exceptional. Like a lot of depth on both sides, and that would probably align with that. Can we see Sadat anytime soon? And Sadat has been offered to come. I don't know where he is, so I should ask him. It's just to be really honest with you guys, I'm supposed to be starting now, so I'm on early. But yes, I have asked Sadat, so Sadat should be joining us. We'll see whether he joins us. He'll come when he's free. Don't forget he's also busy with the Olympics. There's been a fair bit of carry on there with, I think, a bronze medal and a few other things that have gone on. So, we'll wait and see whether he'll come. Ollie Pope is out. Ollie Pope has been announced as George DeBell from ESP Cricket Info gave that information I saw just earlier, and ultimately DeBell is pretty much usually on the ball. That will say that. So DeBell has said that Ollie Pope is out. He's got a niggling injury, and Bairstow comes back into play. Yeah, Ollie Pope. India has to score 320 plus in the first inning if India bats first today. Well, you'd hope that would be their score. You would hope that would be their score, but it's there's no guarantee about that. they'll be if they do get that sort of score, then it's pretty impressive. Let's be honest, it's a pretty impressive score on an England wicket, especially at Trent Bridge. Colley said, "I will just bat against." Yes, so I saw that about that discussion. That was very interesting. He said, "How would you handle Anderson? He's going to bat." Well, it's a fairly clear thought, isn't it, when he says something like that? But you'd have to say that's a commendable thing for him to say. Well, let's hope that he gets runs. He's due. So is Pujara. So is Rahane. Okay. Abhinay Kumar is saying, Rory Burns is in form. His techniques were totally different. Well, he scored more runs today. He's very capable. We know that he's very capable of doing well. So, yes, I'd say Rory Burns will be in the mix. Coley hitting 100. I'm actually doubtful anyone will score 100 in this test. It's a bowler-friendly wicket. It's very green on top. The Indian and England bowling attacks are very, very strong. Both teams are a bit underdone, so I would say that I like the team will get a high score, and I don't think Coley will get 100. Not because he's not good enough, it just won't be the case. What will be the ideal replacement for Ollie Pope? It's already been stated as Bairstow. With Butler down that middle order, Lawrence may float around there too, but if they keep the same top four, that is Burns, Sibley, Crawley and Root, it'll be the same. Whether Hamid gets a go is the question. I'm against you, sir. Ash, surely play because if you win the test, you take 20 wickets. India will go with the best spinner. Ash will bat, so Jody maybe gets right. Okay. Well, there's a chance that neither of them might be playing because Shardul Thakur's been considered and they don't have any spinners. So, you might. I'm not discounting that Ashwin will probably be in the side with Jadeja. Punt has to be on fire the first thing to get. Yeah, I would agree. Well, so does the other batsmen too. Can India have ability to win against England? Of course they can. Absolutely. So Tony Xavier's in France. Well, welcome from France. Oh. What part of France are you, Tony Xavier? Tell me what part of France you are. Yeah, why not Siraj? Why not Shuttle? I agree totally. Siraj should be in there. I think he should be. But they may stick to this formula for the World Test Champions. That's the only thing I can think of. And Shardul's really been talked heavily about as being the all-rounder, being the Hardik Pandya of the team. So if that's the case, he's gaining certainty about being in the team. What is your play of both India and England? Okay. We've talked about that already, and we'll go through that shortly. Thinking he can beat Argentina in women's hockey. Yes. Absolutely. Munchie's decided to test out his French. He's joined us. Thank you, Munchie. We're waiting for your weather report, Munchie. We've heard nothing about the weather report. We're all waiting for your weather report. Your weather girl outfit that you're meant to be wearing. Are you wearing a weather girl outfit, Munchie? I'm yet to see you in it, so I'm expecting that to be the case. Did you want to join, Munchie? You can also join. If you want, I can send you one. Okay. Your thoughts on Indian bowler going around against left-hand batsman very early in the inning? It's a good concept. Good concept indeed. There's nothing wrong with that concept. I'm in Brave Logard. Okay, so where is that, Tony Xavier? Is it near Paris? Is it near Bordeaux, or is it near the south? Whereabouts are you? Sun shining, dry today with win the toss and bat, as I would have said. Munchie can't join. That's all right. So, yeah, win the toss and bat. And I'm expecting India, if they win the toss, and they haven't won many tosses, especially under Kohli's captaincy. They won a toss under Shikhar Dhawan in the last match, but didn't help the rest. Yeah, so it's dry track. That means we're going to see a match being played. We're going to see probably a good batting day early on. India should bat first. Absolutely. East of Bordeaux. Tony Xavier, I love my Bordeaux wines. Oh, geez. Do I like my Bordeaux wines? I love my Bordeaux wines. Bordeaux was one of my favorite places. Chateau. Yes. Okay. We're going through some teams that are coming now. Rohit, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Pant. That's looking like it's going to be the top six, yes. Ashwin or Jadeja, Chardul, Shunt, okay, so you're not playing Shami, and you're putting Siraj in place of Shami. JT Chandler's not a bad side. Thoughts on tailenders of England batting versus Indian bowlers? Yeah, look, the reality is that both teams are going to be weak in their batting lineups. the facts are they're weak. I mean, India have got a great team on paper early on, but it's a matter of where they perform. I think Rowan Sharma, I'm predicting to get 30 odd and get out. I hope he gets more, but I think he'll start well. It's a pity he's not batting with Gill because I think they've combined very nicely now, and he's not there. Agarwal's not there. Blood another batsman in the opening slot today. Yeah. If Siraj plays on this sort of a wicket, he'll get 3 or 4 on his first innings, I reckon, for sure. If it is dry today and how weather will... Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. I think that's if it's a dry, if it's sunny down there, it's firming for an extra spinner. Yeah, I can agree with you saying Rahul. I would say Rahul's the best chance. But look, Ishwaran is the so-called deputy or first or emergency opening bat, so he could well be in there. England do have a strong bowling lineup, yes. Your prediction on Rahul's performance, I've said before that I think he'll get a score of he'll bat solidly, say, but he may not go on with it. So Munchie's predicting a draw. I think we've predicted a draw with the World Test Championship too. That didn't happen. It was a victory. So I'm not talking about draws at all. I think the bowling sides will get 20 wickets and they could get it very quickly. I think 250 will be a pass score. 250 will be a good score. So that 5 days may not be in it. Maybe a 3 or 4 day test match anyway. Especially because the batters are underdone. There's a lot of conjecture to batting orders. They've lost openers, they've lost middle orders, Ben Stokes, Ollie Pope. There's a lot of destabilisation going on. I actually think that they'll be scheduled for low scores all four innings. Yeah, I don't think there's a strong batting line. I think, obviously, Kohli, Rahane, and Pujara are crucial. Yeah, it depends. I mean, they've got to let Punt go and be himself. Rowett versus Broad battle, that'll be interesting. Rowett versus Anderson battle too. Kohli versus Anderson, certainly the battle. I think Paranjay Shadiva said that. Dinesh Kumar saying, will the Patels make a difference in the Test series? They're going to have to. Yeah, we have. Okay, but I think we predicted. No, I don't think. I think 3 days will be enough. And you've just said that first 2 days are certainly going to be good, and third day more than okay. So we've got a chance. India has several other ones as an opening batsman. Is that what you're talking about? I think there'll be more than 3 days play, and that could well be enough for a victory. So I'm not concerned about the victory side of it. Draws. Kohli doesn't play for a draw. Root doesn't play for a draw. They don't play for draws. We've got to remember these teams don't play for draws. They're batting and bowling very aggressively, and they do not play for draws. So I think that's out. I personally think it's out of the question. Does it range for 4 days? I think we're going to get a result. I don't think there's much of an issue. I personally don't think there's going to be an issue with the result. I think there's a very, very good chance we'll get a result. So yeah, that's my prediction. I'm just looking at some stats here. I don't think there's going to be an issue with that at all. Okay, so I'm going against the Munchie. Hi Munchie, hi Norman, hi Brian. Root score, how many runs? I think 50 plus. Look, Sahid, Gamer, and people are always talking of Kohli and Root's batting performances. We know they're both capable of scoring big and scoring very big. But in this Test series in England, with 2 very good bowling lineups, a lot of snicks going on, a lot of good bowling, it's going to be very difficult to score more than 250 as a team, and hence centuries are less and less likely. Virat sure learnt a lesson from announcing the team early. So you're saying Virat Marani, he's not announcing the team early. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, the bowling attack, Bumrah's probably going to be kept there. Although he's the least informed bowler out of the lot, to be honest with you. Batting's all about patience. It's not about white ball cricket. Correct. But it's also good bowling that swings and cuts and seams, leads to edges. Root is the key to success, I think, absolutely. Because without Ben Stokes there, they've got a big hole. So, yeah, Rowan and Kale Russell. I wonder how much Rohit Sharma will have when it comes to the selection of his opening batting partner. Will he influence the side selection? Will he be able to just say, I want Rahul over Vihari? Or will it be, someone like Eshwaran having his guns in? We just don't know. It's an interesting one. They're probably going to be relatively conservative, and you'd have to think Rahul would be given the preference. Vihari, if any, was going to bat down the order. Pujara won't open though. So there's a lot to be said about that already. I'm from Sweden, so what do you think in cricket is working on? It certainly is a worldwide game, Rasul Hassan. You're in Sweden. You love your cricket, starting point. I've been to numerous, Oman's coming through, parts of Africa. Women's cricket is enormous all over the world in countries, so that's not even a question. Bumrah should prove his worth before. He certainly has to. He played very poorly in the World Test Championship. Who's the guest today? Well, we've got a partner coming on. I'm very early. It's only the 11th minute of the actual broadcast. I started early. We've got a few people. The Barmy Army are actually at the cricket. They're meant to be joining. David Graven is meant to be joining. He's between locations. Chris Vernon later. We've got it's a whole mix of people. But don't worry, I'm here, so don't worry. Yeah, cricket is more and more popular. Absolutely, no one is. Too many leagues happening around the world. Don't think it is actually good for cricket. I can see that. I can see, especially the short form. Absolutely. What time match starting? The match starts in about 49 minutes time at 11 a.m. England time, which is 3:30 p.m. your time in England, or it's close to 8 o'clock here. It's now 7:11, 7:12 p.m. So we've got sort of a good 48 minutes to go. We're clearly going to get some very good information regarding the ground is dry. Quick Info's talked about Ollie Pope not playing. He's out. We know already Ben Stokes is out. We know that Gill's out. We know that obviously Agarwal's out. There's quite a few players that are out. I'll tell you who's got players out is Australia. Their performance against Bangladesh was woeful, 108. And they can use all sorts of excuses. There are no excuses. It's just really poor. Okay, let me see this. Okay, Sam Curran is certainly being talked up here as a replacement for Ben Stokes, and arguably so it should be. So okay, just getting a confirmation. Agarwal is definitely ruled out. We knew that. Ajinkya Rahane has been past fit, but he's not the only selection conundrum they face in the coming days. Yes, certainly. So if I can't see any difference between Rohit Sharma with an opening partner, either Rahul or Vihari, probably like the Rahul. Then you'll have Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, and then punts, and then a combination of what spinners and what opening bowlers, which we've talked about already. So that's what my team will be, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And why are people so obsessed in getting cricket to the Olympics? For that, they are making shorter and shorter formats to go. Well, yeah, but it'll be a big coup to have cricket there. Is the 100 format going to be popular? Well, some of my English people, like Munchie and Banster Boy and even Chris Vernon, said 100 formats or Chris Vernon's comments last night were the format's just like T20 cricket as far as he's concerned. He sees very little difference, a bit quicker. So really, it's just that. Sky and Shorts were rushed before the Shrunks. Well, they weren't. They're not, because they couldn't be. They were in isolation. They can't be rushed in it, and it won't happen, I'm pretty sure. A good first inning score. Look, really, I can't see a score of more than 250 for the whole match. In fact, it'll go 250 around that mark and go down progressively through the 4 innings. It typically happens in England, I'm afraid. If the conditions are certainly hot and dry, well, it may see a higher score, but Anderson and Broad, especially Broad at Trent Bridge, oh my God. Australia are becoming, I tell you what, why I'm very upset with Australia, putting Matthew Wade as the captain is such a retrograde step. He's been dropped from the Test series. He's barely making the shorter format, and then to put him as captain annoys me no end. Alex Carey is on the same side. I don't get that. If Alex Carey's been given the ODI, he should be given the T20. Very bizarre. It's poor selections. And having Mitchell Martin, batted okay. He's still not a first dropper. Moses and Rex has probably had a bit of a shocker. But Matthew Wade's the captain. Forget it. Big mistake. I'm talking about that now, Simon. So I'm very disgusted with the selections. Matthew Wade, what the hell? I mean, they've got George Bailey, the Tasmanian former Australian cricketer who even had a go at captaincy once. So he is a very intelligent man, and I have a lot of respect for him. I bet he does a bit of cleaning up. And unfortunately, I'm not sure when he takes over. I think hasn't taken over yet. He's about to take over. Or it may have been 1st August, but he hasn't really made any team selection changes just yet. Trevor Holmes was steady over the years, but George Bailey, he is a Tasmanian. I hope that doesn't influence his selection for Matthew Wade. I hope not. But Tim Payne, well, he'll be in there for the Ashes Test series for sure. Oh, well, not necessarily. It seems to be that's not necessarily the case. It doesn't look like that the spin bowling department will be that crucial in the first match. Later on, yes, but Jadeja or Ashwin will be in the match. They may even go with both, but I'd say one of those two will be in it. If it's a dry condition, they may see both. You don't know. Sky could be a good replacement for Rahane in the future. Yes, he could be, but not at the moment. Australia batting looks horrible. It does. Matthew Wade's not the captain of Australia. Big mistake. And I've got Steve Maven has joined me.
Norman, hello. How are you?
Good, guy. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, and hello to all the Eyes on Cricket regulars. How you going? Good to be here again.
And if you don't know, Steve Maven's from Rabbitohs Radio. Of course, he has a very successful involvement there, and he's a cricket aficionado as well as being a rugby league aficionado, having played a little bit of rugby league for South Sydney Rabbitohs. And all your Indian followers right now, if you haven't, you should do it now. You should go to Rabbitohs Radio podcast and the actual Rabbitohs Radio TV and subscribe and follow my Rabbitohs, which is also Steve's Rabbitohs. So Munchie from England saying hi, Maven, and Munchie's a real pommy, probably is a Burgess follower.
Hi, Munchie. How are you, mate? I just was following. I was just out walking, and I've been trying to follow the comments and keep up with what's going on. And I think it's a shame you couldn't come on, Munchie, but you've just given us yes, go the Bunnies. You've just given us a bit of a weather report, and it looks like we're going to get a day's play in here. I've just checked; it's 19 degrees, and it looks like not a too bad day up there in Trent Bridge. So exciting to see how this test is going to go, Norman. I've heard you talking a little bit about it, and it's the two superpowers of the cricket world in a Big 5 Test series. And I know a lot of the Indian fans are salivating at the chance of getting a bit of revenge on the last series to avenge that. And, England's without probably their best player, Stokes, which opens it up a little bit for them.
They've lost Ollie Pope as well.
Ollie Pope, yeah. So he's a loss. But I am looking forward to seeing the Indian side come over here and try and get the win away from home.
Oh, it's very exciting. It's always great to see a test series, especially in England. The Indians have got a great team. They've got a bit of an unknown to their opening spot at the moment as to who will bat with Rohit Sharma. It's either going to be Fahari or KL Rahul, or they have got this young fellow called Eswaran, who's supposedly the replacement opening bat. Then there's Prithvi Shaw and Sky Kumar Yadav yet to come from Sri Lanka. So a few guys to come. So, Steve, your perspective. Now, just talk a little bit about the Olympics here just for a moment. We've got another goal. We're doing well. We're running 4th, aren't we still?
The Aussies are going in unreal, and it's been a great Olympics under trying circumstances. But first of all, to all the English fans out there, what about Sky Brown today in the skateboarding? Just turned 13 years old, superstar, won gold medal, I think, at the X Games. It's only a tiny little thing, but she looked like a little midget Tony Hawk. She's a freakish talent, and unfortunately she didn't get the gold, but I'm pretty sure the English fans would have been going nuts watching her, and I think she's got a Japanese mother too, so the whole two nations were cheering for that little, there you go, 13-year-old. So she's only a little thing, but gee, she could move. Some of the aerial moves she was doing, it's like, back in the day, all I could do on the skateboard was go out in the road and do a bit of click clacks and maybe go off a gutter or something, but nothing like these kids are doing now. So yeah,
So
and the Olympics have been good. Yeah.
Are you claiming to be a big skateboarder now? Are you, Maven?
Well, I had a skateboard when I was a kid, as most Aussie kids did, but I was never much into this, this aerial skateboarding like they're doing now. But it used to be a bit of fun to go out and have a bit of a ride on the skateboard, go up the park, go down the hill, trying to hit the cars coming past on the intersection.
Well, that makes now it's all making sense. The way you dive for your tries may have been from your skateboarding days, the way you could fall off a skateboard. Is that what I'm getting it from? Is that you're used to making those dives on a skateboard? Was it up being your cricket or football prowess?
It could well have been, mate. It could well have been, yeah. But so just before we finish on the Olympics, it's been a great one for the Aussies. I know, this is an England and Indian game, but yeah, the Aussies have been performing quite well. Some of our swimmers, we had a girl called Emma McKeon become the greatest Australian Olympian of all time with a medal haul, and that's something to be proud of. And we've been winning medals in places like in the sailing and in the awesome foursome. Both our men and women awesome foursome rowers won gold within an hour of each other. So yeah, we love our sport, Aussies. We love the Olympics. We also love cricket.
Emma McKeon, who you talked about, her father, Ron McKeon, went to Pagewood.
Yes, he was. Yeah, Maroubra family, and I do remember the McKeons from back because I used to be in Maroubra Surf Club, and so I do remember the family. And yeah, so they're a proud family. And one of the Baram Irani said he was good at breaking his skateboard and tearing his pants and scratching his elbows and palms. So yes, what skateboarder doesn't remember falling off and you've always got bark off here and you've kicked your toe but it was all part of growing up, so it was good. Yeah. So
but India haven't done too badly with their Olympics either. They've got a couple of bronze, they've got a silver, but they've also got now their women's hockey team playing for the gold medal, actually.
Yes,
having beaten Australia, which is a whopping big deal.
Well, I think a lot of the Aussie press and the nation had the Aussie girls penciled in for the gold, and it just goes to show all things don't go to plan. And that the Indian girls, good on them. I hope they get out there and get a gold for the nation, because I know they'll have plenty of people cheering them on back home. And just talking about things that don't go to plan, Norman, I heard you talking about the pitch, and that's in England, and you're not predicting high scores, but I'd like to go out on a limb here. And my favourite player is for the Indian team, even though he plays for the Delhi Capitals, Rishabh Pant, and he's only batting down the order. And
he's not batting.
I'm going out on I'm going to tip him to make a ton in the first test and lead his team to victory. How's that for a prediction?
Oh, that's very bold. We've just got word that Ishant Sharma is actually injured and he's not going to play. And it looks like Shardul Thakur is the one coming in. That implies that Bumrah will be bowling with Shami as well. And Siraj it could be a selection between Siraj and either Jadeja or Ashwin for the other spot. So at this point in time, Ishant Sharma is out. Shardul Thakur is in. Bumrah and Shami are the other two at this potential moment. And of course, Jadeja, Siraj, one of those two will be in with Ashwin. That's the selection process. There's also talk of Johnny Bairstow is the last. He's actually getting a commemorative test cap as we speak. He's 75th, which is quite a haul. And he's obviously been put in place of Ollie Pope. Not as the keeper. Butler will be the keeper, but he'll be there as a batter, Johnny Bairstow, and bat down the order. So there's some updates for you from the side at this point. So that's that's Ben Folkes is the other keeper who would have probably been the first choice of keeper, but he's injured as well. My God, the amount of injuries, Steve, it's amazing. We've got players like Agarwal got hit in the head. Gill's already gone home for India. Ben Stokes with his mental illness. There's a hell of a lot going on with injuries or omissions.
Well, I did see that someone said that losing Ben Stokes was like losing two players. And I just saw a comment from Adam, and he's the same name as Adam Gilchrist, and he said that Punt is like the second Adam Gilchrist coming, and that's what I think too, the left-handed blazing batsman. I love it when he just goes out and goes bang, bang, bang and knocks the ball all over the park. We've got to love that. And hopefully we see a bit of that in this first test starting soon.
We've got just over 5 minutes before the moment of truth, the toss, the team's announcements, and then the tantrums, as I call it. I normally have a phrase here, toss, teams, tantrums. So the tantrums may be behind the scenes, with certain players left out or not put in. That's always the case. So the other interesting aspect of the Indian side is is certainly around the spin bowling department. Jadeja and Ashwin, I think, will not both be playing. It looks like because they've included Shardul Thakur in the place of Ishan Sharma, that almost implies they're only going to bowl one spinner. And that means that it'll be either Jadeja or Siraj to play in the team. And it looks like there's a good chance Siraj might be in. So it'll be a good side. But India, do you think they're going to win this test and this test series? What's your early thoughts there, Steve?
Well, when I heard that Ben Stokes was out, I did lean towards India, and I'm going to stick to that. Now, I just looked at what the bookies think, and they've still got England as favourites at home. Not overwhelming favourites, but I like to go an underdog. Us Aussies, we love backing a roughie, and yeah, it's a big game. You know, Kohli will be looking to score some runs, and like my man Rishabh Pant down the order, but. Yeah, I think they lost 4-1 in the last series, Norman. If you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So they are going there with a point to prove, and they are an emerging, talent in this cricket world. I mean, they just come off the World Test Championship, and even though they unfortunately got rolled there, they are in the top 2 nations in the Test world. So they're entitled to think that they can beat India on their day, and this could be it. They've got to get a good start. I think you said if they win the toss, they'll bat, and they're going to want to go out there and get some runs to cement their position on day one.
So, Umar Akmal's come back from Pakistan. You talk about that. We'll talk about that a bit later, but perhaps not now. Okay, so let's look at Munchie's comment. So sad that Moeen Ali is not playing there and he's playing the 100 and not the test. Yeah, there's something bizarre. They got that I'm going to say the 100 series playing over the top of the test matches. That's wrong. They should have kept them separate. I guess because of the time constraints, they had to put the 100 in place. It does take away from the test team a little bit. When Moeen Ali's been preferred to play that, he would probably have been an essential all-rounder, like a Jadeja in the side, so that's a pity. So Munchie's saying there's lots of lovely grass on the deck. So winning the toss with the sun there, as Munchie said earlier, I'd say the team should bat first. You should always bat first. First test of a test match in the 5-test series, you should bat first.
Back yourself.
Back yourself, correct. But it does look like a bowler's wicket. And I know you were saying that it could be bigger scores than I made out. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays. With Broad's, this is Broad's home ground. This is the ground, Steve, that Broad tore Australia apart. Remember that time when he got several wickets in the last innings, and Clark and Warner, they went out very cheaply. So this is the wicket, which is quite dangerous.
Yes, I do. Yep.
So Richard Vernon's just Banster boy. You were sending me a message on Facebook Messenger. Why aren't you here on the proper party? He's just said dry today, wet tomorrow. Third day looking good. I think we'll get 2 days, 3 days, pretty good weather, I reckon. Anyway, all right. The fact that you've got a green wicket, Steve. The fact you've got a green wicket tells you almost immediately that we've got a bowler's paradise. It's going to be, it's going to certainly move. And if Broad and Anderson get a chance, so Munchie's saying if Broad and Hamid play at Notts, would have preferred Hamid to play. So Hamid is the opening batter, of course. There was some conjecture whether he would get in. He played well in the earlier match, the so-called trial match, the county select team. But the reality is that we have to be able to find a consistent batting order, and England need that. They may stick with Sibley and Burns because of that reason, although Hamid is pressing quite hard. It'll be interesting to say. We're very, very close to a toss, guys. Very, very close to a toss.
Yep.
And as I said, Steve, it's toss, teams, tantrums. Did you have many tantrums when you were playing footy?
Yeah, well, I must say, who didn't? I like that.
Well, when we played footy,
I like the three teams. When I was young, I used to have long hair, and to unsettle me, the opposition used to just try and rip my hair out. And when I was a young fella, it sort of upset me. But then I would click out and look out. I used to take it out on them, so they probably regretted doing it. I was sent off once or twice for indiscretions, but they were just problems.
Okay. Indiscretions don't mean very much. What did you actually do?
Once was a high tackle when I think the elbow came up a bit high and I collected a guy across the jaw. And another one was a guy called Smokin' Joe Kilroy, named for the Brisbane Broncos. he was on the ground, and I sort of come down with sort of like a WWF style thing, and Wally Lewis, the king, was standing there, and he said, get him off, ref," and the ref said, "All right, you're off." So I got my marching orders courtesy of the king.
Hang on, you are talking about rugby league. You're not talking about wrestling. You're not talking about wrestling or a form of gangland murder or something. You didn't, because the way you described the elbow and the stiff arm.
I know. No, well, when I played the game, it was a bit of more of a brutal era when, some of that stuff was the norm and you could get away with a whole lot more. And nothing like this gentleman's game that we're talking about, cricket. So, and it has been cleaned up a lot now in rugby league. There's not so much of that anymore, and there's not so much belting your opposite player and all of that. And the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs, the team that we talk about on our show, we're the pride of the league, and we've got players like Cameron Murray who are squeaky clean. They look like Robert Redford, and they play like the best, toughest guy in the world. So, we've got some players to really look up to in our game, as the Indian and England teams. A guy like Joe Root. I love Joe Root. And, he's an example of a gentleman who leads his country and leads by example.
So Munshi and Barami are having a little conversation as they normally do. So Suman Awashi is talking about Ravi Dayal, the qualified final match of the wrestling. I think that's a segue from your comment about wrestling there. I think that probably came out of that one. Yeah. All right, breaking news. There's some drama going on the ground. Abhimanyu Esawaran has been called to the ground. Now, he was the opening batter that's the young up and coming player.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting to see whether he's actually playing. Now, he's in the mix. He could be selected. They're even talking about Pujara opening. Is it going to be Rahul? Is it going to be Vihari? Oh, my God. There's this opening batter combinations. Really, this is a big moment here, Steve. We're waiting with bated breath. The toss is now being officially done, and England has won the toss and are batting. England have won the toss and are batting. So
there you go.
Means, so that's a good toss for England to have won. They can go on the front foot now, and they've won the toss and they're batting. And Joe Root says it looks like a reasonable wicket, not the prettiest. Whether in the first hour, make the most of it. He said, Joe Root, and exciting to play in a big series like this. Bairstow and Curran are both in as we expected. So Johnny Bairstow and Sam Curran are in. I'd say predominantly to replace Ben Stokes and obviously Ollie Pope. So that means the batting order but by that implication, Steve, they're saying that Hamid's not playing. He would have been mentioned by now. So it looks as though Rory Burns will open with Sibley, Crawley as first drop, I'm pretty sure, with Root second, and then Bairstow comes in with Sam Curran. So we'll just wait for that. But by the there also is Jack Leach is missing out again. There'll be no spinner in the England side.
Oh.
There is no spinner in the England side.
There you go.
That's very. That's obviously telling a tale. The ground is a grass wicket, a turf. A bumper of a wicket is going to be there for the fast bowlers. So Leach is not playing. That means you would have to. Well, Sam Curran's in, we've just heard. So I would argue that Broad and Anderson are in, and we may see Robinson and Wood. We're not sure yet. And as I said earlier, by the way, and some people have doubted it, Ravi Chandra Ashwin is out for India. Jadeja looks like he may have kept his place, but Ashwin was the first of the two spinners that has not been put in the side. There's a lot of conjecture that Ashwin will be the one that would stay in. Well, he is, in fact, the one that's not playing. I'd say that Shardul Thakur and Jadeja are in the side. We may even see Siraj. We're waiting with bated breath to see what's going on there, but definitely. So Kohli has just spoken. Ashwin is out for India. I was hoping for the same to bat first. So Kohli wanted to bat first, as we predicted. The first session of Trent Bridge is challenging for the batters. So effectively, both teams wanted to bat first. England had the luxury of winning the toss and then decided to bat. And India's side, there's some dramatic turn up. So SOR, I don't think's got the berth. He would have been mentioned by the captains in the initial discussion. So Rahul is opening, and Jadeja is the solitary spinner. So that's the decision there. We now only have to find out who's batting with Rahul. Sorry, Rahul's batting. So effectively that means the batting lineup will be Rahul, as in KL Rahul, will bat with Rohit Sharma, Steve. With the first drop will be Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Punt. Then Jadeja. and then I would say Shardul Thakur, and then you've got 3 pace bowlers. With Ishant Sharma out, it'll mean that Shami will probably bowl with Bumrah, and we may see Siraj as the other choice. Let's just confirm that. There's some pretty dramatic moments there. So, guys, have you heard that? That's what looks like it's going to happen. Rahul, makes it. So, KL Rahul is in. Rohit Sharma, of course, is there with him as well. And Kohli, yet again, Virat Kohli has lost another toss. He continues to lose the toss.
Yeah.
So again, Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Punt, Jadeja. I'm not sure. I think there's one missing there. I think it is definitely Shardul Thakur, Shami Bumrah, and Siraj. We'll just wait to just get that confirmation, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's a player missing there. It looks as though that's a particularly good Indian side, to be really honest with you. Bowling wise, they've done very, very well. They put Siraj in, Shardul Thakur, who can bat, Shami and Bumrah, as long as they're bowling to form. It's a pretty good side, actually. And with KL Rahul, he's going to be out to prove a point. I'll tell you what, this is KL Rahul's massive opportunity. He has both Gill and with Gill out and Agarwal out. There's been a door open for KL Rahul, and he's in. This is huge for Rahul. If he can put a group of heat, well, he's going to have to bat second, but he will be. That's a pretty big thing, as it is with Johnny Bairstow and Sam Curran. Massive opportunities for them with Pope and Ben Stokes out. But I think equally a big opportunity for KL Rahul to really stake a claim. And you can see the viewership's gone through the roof now. We've got a strong viewership here at this moment. People are very eagerly awaiting to see this match. I think, Steve, you'll see another level of viewership when you watch these test matches. The strength of Indian viewers on this test match is immense. This is the first day of the first test. I'm having a post session, which will be past your bedtime. It's at 3 a.m. in the morning. But you watch the dedication, the Indian and the worldwide. We've got people here today from, I saw, Sweden, France, obviously India, all over the world. They're joining in with us. I'm very impressed. So the Indian, okay, I've got it officially here. This is the official side. Rohit Sharma, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli at 4, Rahane at 5, Punt at 6, Jadeja at 7, Thakur at 8, Bumrah 9, Mohammad Shami 10, and Mohammad Siraj 11. That is a bloody good side. I tell you what, England are going to be up against it. This is a really, really good Indian side. Despite the fact that they've lost 2 of their openers, they've chosen very cleverly. I think the inclusion of Thakur and Siraj is very, very strong. Very, very strong. Now, the England team, as expected, Burns, Sibley, and Crawley have kept their positions. Hamid did not get a Guernsey. Roots at 4, Bairstow at 5. Now, Dan Lawrence is in at 6, which I didn't expect. Josh Butler at 7. Sam Curran, Ollie Robinson, Broad and Anderson. So they've gone with interesting. The bowling attack is 4 frontline bowlers. Anderson, Broad, Robinson, and Curran. They're 4 bowlers. So in terms of their 5th bowling in the lineup, they've gone back to root again. So they've got a lot of confidence in their top 4 bowlers to bowl well on this pitch. Clearly, interesting, isn't it, Steve? That England have actually gone, you would argue, 1 bowler short by having Dan Lawrence in there, who's not an all-rounder. That's intriguing because India have gone in with 4 bowlers. They've gone in with a clear 5 bowlers. India have gone in with Thakur, Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, and Jadeja. They've gone with 5 bowlers. So India are actually got. Interesting is that England have gone in with 1 bowler short.
Well, they're putting a lot of trust in Broad and Anderson, and I suppose it gives them an extra batsman as well, though. I suppose so. You can look on the positive.
But in terms of a true all-rounder, Sam Curran has hit that mantle. And as I said to you, the people that will need to take their performances seriously here today are certainly Bairstow and Curran in their roles. Dom Sibley better get his act together in the opening spot because Hamid's on his tail. India, huge chance for Thakur and Siraj very, very early in the series to stake a claim. And in particular, KL Rahul has come out of nowhere, really, to be opening the batting. That is quite a distinct turnaround. KL Rahul, by the way, Steve, was in the side earlier on. A few years ago, he was a regular. He fell out of shape and he went to the shorter form of the game he's even keeping. So we have a distinct, because even at one stage they had Ridhima Saha opening the batting for India as a deputy, and that was a joke. He was a shocker. He's way past his best. Good player in his time. So this is a particularly good Indian side. I predict India will win and win well. As long as they can negate Anderson and Broad, they're going to win well. Why? Because of their selections. They've gone very positively to, admittedly, Ishant Sharma was injured, so he's not being selected because of his injury, not because of form. Because Ishant Sharma would have been in the side otherwise, which would have meant Siraj would have missed out. So Shardul, in fact, he would have stayed in Siraj. Shardul Thakur may be the one that's out. But India are batting all the way to 8. India are batting all the way to 8. So you could argue England are as well. They're also batting to 8. But there's a lot more weakness in that England side, I would say.
Yeah. And we've got a visitor here, Darren Brown, my co-host on Rabbitohs TV. He just said to Steve Maven knows his cricket, and thank you, Brownie. I do know my cricket. I know my rugby league a bit better, but I'm happy to talk about cricket. Welcome, Brownie. You'll have to come in and visit us for a chat at some stage.
Yeah, you are. Now, Brownie, you should have said the correct thing to say, and I'll correct you, is Steve Maven and Norman Kochnick knows his cricket. How dare you not even mention me? I'm going to take you to task, Darren Brown. I'm going to come to Botany wherever you are. Bloody well. Or are you hanging around? Are you hanging around Malabar waterways? The pools there. I will find out about that.
Yeah, no. Well, Brownie,
Darren Brown. My man is Rishabh Pant. Well, Steve's claiming at the moment, Darren. And if you all have seen the video, guys, that have a couple 100,000 viewers on our Street Talk where Steve and Darren were a part of, Darren said Rishabh Pant likes Rishabh Pant. No, actually, Rishabh Pant is a fan of Rishabh Pant. There's a classic line. All right.
Yeah. But yes, Brownie, yes, he is playing. And yes, I have predicted him to get 100. I just think he'll come out and go bang, bang, bang. And yes, you are Mr. Cricket Norman. So, yes, he's eyes on cricket with Norman Kochnick. So, no, we're just on here having a chat with him, and we're glad to be on here having a chat about cricket, mate. And we actually, what made me think of it is just what I was going to say before. I was going to mention, Brownie, is Stokes has had some time off with mental health issues, and they talked about it. It's been a global pandemic, and he's gone from bubble to bubble, and he's had some struggles, and he lost his father, and then, like they said, he's supposed to have had a sore finger, but he has. You know, we can understand in these troubled times if someone needs to have some time off, even though he is, their best player.
There's a lot of upset out there in the Indian public. They've said, "What on earth has Ashwin been dropped and Jadeja in?" And why they're saying that is because of what happened in the World Test Championship. Because Jadeja was quite underdone and didn't play well. Has been preferenced here over Ashwin. And the reason why he's batting, and he's a left-hand batter as well. They're the two reasons. But they're saying the Indian tail is, I've never heard this before, but the Indian tail is as long as Diplodocus. I'm not sure what Diplodocus is, but we'll have to Google that one. I'm not sure what's going on there. But, So
I like this, Norman, that he said, Pratash Roy has said, wear the white cap at the back behind you because it's a test match. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Something in that could be good. If it was New Zealand, if New Zealand were playing,
hang on.
You got cut. Are they available? Are they available? Oh, it's an ICC cricket hat.
It's a World Test Championship cap. Would you?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The World Test Champion. Look at that. World Test Champions at 2021. Is that 21?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. It's about as current a cap as you can get. It's almost as hot as property as the Rabbitohs bloody jacket. You've got to try and get me. Where is that new green jacket? Have you got it? Have you got it there? Did you get one?
No, I didn't get one of those jackets, but I've just got this Rabbitohs apparel. There it is there, the mighty Rabbitoh, the iconic South Sydney Rabbitoh, and we've got some of that gear. You bought your buy Classic and TCL, and on this we do a bit of this too, a bit of zooming on Rabbitohs TV.
We're on StreamYard, so I can't go
on StreamYard now. Yeah, StreamYard's. I'm sure StreamYard's good.
That green and red jacket, I want one. Can you make a promise that you order? If you get one, you order one for me, and I'll pay you. If you don't get one, I'm going to be pretty cranky with you. I'll have to go and run and talk to the CEO there about that. All right, back to
the Rain Tech jackets.
Okay,
there you go. I've got the teams up here.
What's that?
Who's that? I've got the teams. I'm watching the play. I just saw the teams come up. So this guy's talking at the moment. There he is.
Josh Butler. That's Josh Butler.
There you go.
Josh Butler, the keeper.
There you go. He's having a little chat, and the team just came up.
So Baram Irani's just given me an education lesson. He's just said that Diplodocus is a dinosaur with a very long tail and neck. So hence the word that the Indian. Oops, hello. Oh, don't have it on there. Hang on. Yeah, there we are.
The Diplodocus.
There we go. There's a lesson for me, Baram Irani. Of course, he's not in Singapore. He's actually in the Philippines watching this. So
really?
Okay, Munchie, AP Gunner, Root, Lawrence, part-time spinners. Yeah, look, this is a shocker. I think England have really stuffed up with their selection. They've only got 4 recognised bowlers in their
Brandy said the baggy green. I've got a baggy black. Baggy black.
I've got a baggy green one as well. So hang on a minute.
But, just before we move on from Diplodocus, Norman, do you know there's an old saying, you don't need a long neck to be a goose either, as they say.
Although you don't mind a long neck up there and there.
No, I do. I've been made to put the long neck away every now and then, so I can't see the quotes without my glasses. So they're going back on.
So the reality is that England are going to be relying on Joe Root to do the bowling with Lawrence as their 5th bowling option. I know that Broad, Anderson, and Robertson are particularly good bowlers. I don't deny that. But if they don't go to plan, and Sam Curran isn't going to plan, they're going to be short a bowler. So India have got an opportunity here. Well, they're not batting first, unfortunately. England are batting first. Had India batted first, I'd say there would have been a clear Indian victory. Now that India are batting second, it'll be a lot closer, but I still favour India. I think the Indian team's got a nice mix with Shardul Thakur and Siraj on the side and KL Rahul. All 3 of them are going to want to cement their places in this test team. So, really impressive. Today's spin here. So India's bowling attack is Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami, all good exponents of these conditions, with Shardul Thakur, who's also a gunner in these conditions. 4 really good bowlers, and they've got Jadeja as well. So they've got a lot of depth there. Very important. Yeah, the Ashwin-Jadeja debate's an interesting one because, honestly, on form, Ashwin is probably the one that should have been selected. But I must say, I picked Jadeja over Ashwin as well. I think his left-arm batting will be the crucial aspect that will be the difference. But, of course, Munchie said Malik, shocking wicket. The shocking wicket, meaning the pitch is in a bit of a mess. It's going to be a 20-wicket team wicket. We're going to see all outs. We're not going to see any declarations.
I did hear you predict Jadeja when I was listening before, and you've correctly picked that. Eyes on Cricket, Norman, that's the way you would have went, and that's the way the Indian selections have gone as well. So, I
wasn't looking at his form in the World Test Championship. That was a one-off match. It was very different conditions. This is particularly important because the left-hand batting of Jadeja is extremely important. Ashwin bats well too, but I think also Jadeja's bowling is good against the England batting team. Ashwin would have bowled well too, I must say, but I think Jadeja was the right choice. I do think there's still conjecture about that, though. So Norman is the beard of knowledge in cricket. There's a bit of a Santa Claus thing going on here, isn't there? Do you go?
There is a bit.
You have a great beard if you go.
Yeah, and I go very grey, so I keep it trimmed. So and in this lockdown, you can't go to the barber. So my wife actually did this, and I just give myself the shave. So she done an all right job actually. I might start getting her to do it on a permanent basis. But no, I can't. I look a bit like bit like the Nutty Professor with all the grey and all the hair. So I just like to keep it trimmed down a bit. But each to their own, mate. You look like a bit of an elder statesman with your, your wise,
Are you suggesting that when I take the bet off, I'm not wise? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, you said it, not me, but yes. No.
I don't know.
It's only superficial, mate. But yeah, no, your eyes on cricket. It's the eyes that see, and you've got your eyes on this game today.
Absolutely. Now, again, England have won the toss and have elected to bat. Their batting lineup is, to me, a very shaky one. Sibley performed pretty ordinarily. Burns pretty well. Crawley hasn't batted well. Root's been the only one that's okay. Ollie Pope's not there. Ben Stokes not there. There's a fair bit of uncertainty about the England batting order. And if Siraj can get his act together early with Shami and Bumrah, we could see some very early wickets. And that could really play in the favour of India. But this match is going to be, I still think this is going to be a low-scoring match. I do not think this will be a high-scoring match at all. So,
yeah. Tell me a bit about Sam Curran, Norman. I heard you talking about Sam Curran before, so he's a bit new on the scene.
Well, he is.
What from him?
Okay, well, he has a brother, Tom Curran, as well. Sorry, Tim Curran. Is it Tom or Tim? I can't remember. I think it's yeah. So anyway, the Curran brothers. Now, one of our learned panelists who's not here today. Have you been on with David Graveney yet?
Yes.
Okay. Well, David Graveney nurtured the Curran boys from a very young age. Nurtured them through.
Right.
He was right behind them to get selected. He believes they're both champion players and they will be the best for England by a long shot as they mature. They're both very young. Sam Curran did very well, as you would remember, in the England series in India. He got a 70 on. It was magnificent towards the end. He batted well. He is a real Ben Stokes-like player. He could turn a match. He's batting sensationally. He was actually a batsman first. He was not a bowler. So he's now a bowling all-rounder. So he's changed his positioning. He's that good, they reckon. He's the son of Kevin Munchie. Yeah, so it is Tom Curran.
Kevin Curran, yes.
Son of now Kevin Curran. Now, the only Kevin Curran that I know is a tennis player that played for, I think, is that the Kevin Curran we're talking about here? I remember Kevin Curran played tennis. Anyway,
yeah.
So Tom Curran is the other player, but Sam Curran's well and truly above him in talent, I believe. I think that he's very, very important to this England side. If England are going to win this Test match, Sam Curran's going to have a great game. I really think, because again, they've only got 4 bowlers. Anderson and Broad are expected to do well, but if they are slightly off, there's a lot of pressure on Ollie Robinson and ultimately Sam Curran. And that's where I think they've got a lot of faith in Sam Curran, actually.
Yeah.
So Russell to Hassan, Umar Akmal with the Pakistan team. It's a great story. Pakistan have done very well. They've got Usman Kadir as well as Harris Ralph, people I know very well. Great to talk about. So talk about, I'm not talking about Dave Warner. He's the last person I want to talk about. He's not playing and he's severely out of form. He needs to get his act together. So does the rest of the Australian team. How was Australia? So have you been embarrassed? All that for 180 against Bangladesh. Did you see that T20 match?
No, I didn't, but I did hear you sort of saying, about the Aussies, you're not impressed with them lately. And yes, Brownie, Todd Curran did play for Mascot. I played SG ball with a guy called Todd Curran. He was a great player, but I don't think they're related. They might be related somehow, English and Australian families. But
actually, I came across a guy by the guys. This is a bit of an aside. Do you know Normie DeBonus?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
And a guy called Gavin Goodwin. They're both Mascot boys.
Oh, yeah, Gavin Goodwin, yes.
No, they're both guys I know very well. I came across them the first time in a long time. Normie DeBonus was one of the best cricketers. He used to turn up quite over the limit, so to speak, and come in and bowl the most amazing deliveries. They were short as hell, and I used to be the keeper. He was a great player. All right, so Kevin Curran was from Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2012. You're right. Much I apologise. I should know that.
So the Aussies aren't going too well. Is that what you're saying?
No, well, all out for 180 against Bangladesh.
Yeah, that's that. Is it? Have we fallen to a new depth, a new low there, or
that's pretty much that's the first time Bangladesh have beaten us in a T20 format. Australia are a mess, to be honest with you. Matthew Wade is captain. Why would you give Alex Carey the captaincy for the ODI and then turn around and give and Alex Carey's playing in the T20 team and then give Matthew Wade the captaincy? How confusing is that?
Yeah,
seriously.
I noticed you're quite scathing there, Norman, and you don't hold back. If you tell it how you see it, I suppose. Okay, it is our home nation, and sometimes you expect to be a little bit,
Steve, they're
give
playing
them a bit.
poorly because the wrong players are being selected. We've got talented players, but Matthew Wade's past his best. And what the hell is he now suddenly captain? He's either got something over one of the selectors because he's a shocker. He was dropped from the test side. He played poorly throughout. He's very inconsistent. He certainly isn't captaincy material. That's a real fallback.
Might have nude photos of him or something. I don't know.
No, I said 100. I said 108. I didn't say 180. I said 108. They were chasing 130 on. They only got 108. I didn't say 180.
Oh, 108. No, you did say 180. I think.
I said 108. I'm sorry.
I thought you said 180, and that to me, I was like, that's not too bad. But 108.
No. My apologies. I was meant to say I did say 108, but it may not have come out of the way. All right. So.
Well, there you go. They are going bad. Terrible.
108 chasing that. Bangladesh got 130 odd, and they couldn't get those runs. Awful, absolutely awful.
It looks like the anthem's being sung now, Norman.
Yeah,
everyone's up for the anthem.
Certainly,
here we go. I don't know. We're allowed to show the live pictures on your. We're allowed to show the live pictures on your show, or is that some sort of copyright issue?
Not really.
Yeah, India. Hey.
So the fact that India are actually is it packed? Yeah, it is. Trent Bridge is a lovely ground. I've been there many a time, and I really like that ground. It's my favourite ground.
Oh yeah. It's historic, isn't it? Look at that bloke. Oh. You've all heard of him, eh? There you go.
There's a lot to be said about this. This is going to be a great match. No, I cannot show this copyright. Well, it's only copyright Baramarani if it's actually full screen. If it's only about 2 seconds worth, it's not copyright.
There you go.
So
glory to South Sydney, Norman. Put that comment up. Glory. There it is. Yes. Glory. Here we are. The mighty Rabbitohs. So
just quickly. Where are South's position on the table? Tell the audience.
We're third.
No, we're equal second, but beg your pardon.
Well, I'm for and against. So we're at the top, near the top of the ladder. We're one win off the lead. So
and we're doing. We've only lost 3 matches all season to 2 sides actually, and those. And we got this.
And we got this player that I know a good close friend of yours really loves. His name is Latrell Mitchell, and he's a superstar, and he is carving up the NRL at the moment. What's that? What's your young Bangladeshi girl, close friend? She's a real big fan of
Janatul Shamona, who played for Bangladesh women's cricket.
Yes,
who lives here in Sydney now. Who's played for the Sydney Cricket Club when they won the comp. She played for the Sydney Cricket Club. They won the competition when she joined them. Maybe she had something to do with it. You'd think. Of course she did. Then she's played for Bankstown the next year, which is a bit of a revelation. I don't know why they anyway. Bankstown they played well for them. She played well for them. She's a real gun. She's now 21. Yep. She'll be back in the Bangladesh side before too long. So
and I just noticed a quick.
Darren Brown has corrected you, Stephen. Now, so did I. It was equal second, not third. Get it right.
Yep.
You should know your table.
Yep. Well, equal second, but we're not in the top 2 if you look at that. And I just saw the England boys wearing shirts. We stand against homophobia, and that's quite a good cause because that's a big issue in society. So good on them.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. So the play is just about to start, is it not?
Yes, it's about to start. They've just gone back off the field. So, have you got any more guests coming on, Norman? Some of your superstar guests, or have you?
I'm actually
carrying the flag today.
I'm waiting on the Barmy Army to make an appearance. The actual Barmy Army, which is like the Rabbitohs, the Burrow, like the Burrow. We've got David Speaker.
We've got the Brownie Army. Well, we've got the Brownie Army at the moment. So, they're getting a. So Colley's just given the boys a pep talk, and they're going out to face the first ball. So what do you go up until the first ball's bowled, Norman, and then you wrap it up? Is that how it works?
I might go a bit longer. We'll see, but I think so.
We stand. Yeah,
go through. It's 105. Barmy will be ready.
Different t-shirts, different stand. They're standing against a few different Munchie saying they're standing against a few different causes. I didn't see that. I just saw the ones that said Fabius. So, there you go. So that's good.
So what you tell me what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm seeing that they're getting ready to deliver the first ball. I can't really see who's. So Dom Sibley. Now, a few people were bagging Dom Sibley. 21 matches. He's averaging 30. He's only hit 550s and 200s. And it looks like he's going to number 52. Sibley is going to face Line Burns. I don't know who's going to face the first ball. Might be Burns.
Burns is the left-hander. Sibley's the right-hander.
Yeah, Rory Burns. He's 26 matches with an average of 33. They're not great averages for openers, really, are they? But he's hit 950s and 300s.
They've had good moments in their career, let's be honest. Rory Burns is probably the more consistent. Sibley's hanging on. And with Hamid coming behind him, he'll be playing at his best today.
Yeah. So Bumrah's gonna bowl the first ball, the 27-year-old. And he's got a average of 23.22, 83 test wickets. And the number 93 Bumrah, he's going to be charging in at Trent Bridge on a fine day. And it's going to be interesting to see how they go.
Well, this is your debut at actually being a live ball-by-ball broadcaster for a test match.
Yes. And I don't know if that's going to breach any copyright, but bugger it, Norman. No one's going to tell us.
That can't. You're not showing any visuals to talk about the game.
I feel like I'm working for the ABC. You know, when they go the old, they do the old.
Well, they have actual things they bash.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should get some props here. But anyway, Bumrah's coming in now. And he lets the first ball go. Wide of the off stump. Just has a look at it.
So Sibley's
day one. The left-handed Burns is facing. And he just let that one go through to the keeper. Day one. First session. We've got Coley on screen now.
I'm actually watching too. I've got it now too. So
you've got it on now too.
Yeah. How well it goes on.
Yeah.
You got Bumrah coming on there.
Yep. Well, look like a little bit of swing.
The actual pitch on the left looks more like a cricket pitch than the one they're actually using. They look like they're using the next week's pitch. So
yeah, it is green, isn't it? So. It's going to be interesting to see if your prediction
England have been very faithful. England have been very faithful. They've allowed both Sibley and Burns to continue opening with Crawley and put Root in at second drop. So they've kept a very solid batting line at the top four, but they wobble after that. They got a bit of a disorganised. The Butler and the like. We're actually being joined by someone now. Let's see.
Yeah,
Dave. We actually do have the Barmy Army. We have the Barmy. Hello. Here we are, live for the match. We've got the David. Speak here. How are you, Dave?
Hey, Norman. Yeah.
Hello, mate.
How special is this? We're live at the ground with the
England won the toss.
What?
England won the toss.
England won the toss?
I'll just turn you around so you can have a look.
Yeah. And Sibley's there with
There you go.
How good's this? How good's this? This is incredible.
the thing is, I know you can hear me, but I'm struggling to hear you.
So now imagine this, David. This is a bit of a breakthrough. You're having the Barmy RV live at the ground. How special! So you realise what this is like? It's like being with a burrow and a rabbit as well.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Oh no! India just got a wicket. The first.
Oh my God! Well, we're a ball behind.
What's happened?
We've just got a wicket.
He's reviewing it though.
I tell you, Bumrah's got a wicket so quickly.
Yeah, he's reviewing
it. So we're just behind you on our coverage. So we're about to see it now. What happens, Norman? So it'll be this ball now, I'd say.
Bowled.
Oh, it looks like he's plumb in front. He's giving it out. LBW, I think. Yes, plumb in front. I reckon that's out. You're going to review it. He's gone to the DRS. He's waiting. He's going to decide. We're reviewing it. Yep. Well, we'll find out before it happens here.
Realise, viewers, we have Australia and England here represented. We've got David there in the audience there. David, you are a champion. How much fun is this? We've got you live there at the ground. That's incredible.
Oh dear. You can imagine the cheer in a minute.
What a delivery. I tell you what, that Boomer's on side. That was a great delivery. He's out.
Yeah. I think that's out. If I had to pick now, I'd say that's Plum.
Giving him out. He's out, Norman.
I tell you what. Oh, Zach Crawley is exposed so early in the innings. Oh, boy. And Sibley's not in good form either. They could be 3 for here. They could be 3 for pretty quickly, couldn't they, David? Are you worried? David?
Oh.
That's it. That's one way out to shut the Barmy Army up.
Can you believe it, Steve? David here is second in charge of the Barmy Army. You know how big the Barmy Army are, the quintessential touring group of the world for any sport. They're right up there.
Yeah. Are there any songs? They're singing any songs yet, David?
Are you singing songs, David, or what?
No, they won't be singing any songs just yet now. No, they're only on the first couple of beers now. Got to give them a chance. Some of them are at the back.
Got to get a skinful first, get a few beers in them, and plus there's a wicket. There's nothing to sing about.
Probably live up after dinner.
Well, by Boomer, good job. Someone said so.
I'm just trying that's brilliant, Dave. I'm trying to get what's his name on? Trying to get good old.
Have to try and get some
I'm trying to get you know who? Alan on. Hang on.
Yeah. Well, Norman, I might leave you to it then with the boys. Watch the game. Might go and watch the game myself.
Yeah, all right. Listen, I'm struggling.
No, hang on, Steve. Hang on.
It's been a privilege.
We're very lucky.
One down in the first over. It could be a quick day. Or we might even see England bowl this afternoon.
I tell you what, this is a horrible start. So this is an incredibly bad start. This is a really bad start. I mean, Rory Burns, David. Rory Burns, I would have hoped him to stay in because Sibley and Crawley are pretty good.
Well, none for one's is a bad start in anyone's book, isn't it? None for one. They want to start settle down and get some runs.
Listen, boys, I'm struggling to hear you. Take care, and hopefully if you come back a bit later, and I'll try and get some earphones. I can't hear what you're saying.
I'll stay a bit longer. You get some songs going. Thanks, David. Really appreciate it.
Get a point in here. Have a point for us. Have a point for us.
Much. Come back a bit later.
Thank you. Army.
Enjoy it.
Army.
Everywhere we go.
Come on, Steve. Do a Barmy Army. Come on. Barmy Army. Show us the shirt.
I don't think they'll be singing much at the moment.
That's true. Show us your shirt.
All right, then.
There it is.
Hey.
Yeah, my mate will put this on the back of my shirt. The back of my shirt. You've got to turn it round. You're on camera now.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Look at this. This is superb. Oh, this is a first.
Nice.
That's
a
to all
first.
my New Zealand friends, not the Aussies.
So we'll sing from here. Barmy Army.
All right.
Come on, Steve. I want to see you do Barmy Army.
Barmy.
All right, David.
See you, mate. Good luck.
You watch it more. Steve, can you believe what just happened? Can you believe what just happened? David is second in charge of the Barmy Army. How mad is that?
Yeah. Maven's the new Kerry O'Keefe Brownies commenting. So we got the Brownie Army here. We got 2 boys from Botany, Norman and Coogee, I think it is, and we got the Barmy Army from Trent Bridge live at the ground. So,
Brownie, can Brownie come on for 5 minutes?
I don't know.
Get him on.
Hang on. I'll try and get him on. Hang on.
Get him on for a minute. So England have taken they've fallen away in the first minutes of the match with Rory Burns taking losing his wicket very early, and they got Zach Crawley out there already. And now Zach Crawley's form is very, very dubious to say the least. And Bumrah, you know what? Bumrah's got something to prove after the World Test Championship. He bowled very poorly. So India versus Argentina in the hockey. India won up. Oh, that's good. We're watching Crawley bat now. Sibley, they're 1 for none. This is a horrible start for England. Oh, did you see that?
Oh,
that move, that was like a banana. That was like a banana.
Yeah.
This match, Steve, will not go 3 days. And you watch, there'll be nobody scoring centuries in this match. Look at that. That's him. Unplayable.
Nah. It is green, isn't it?
Perfect. Oh, that is a corker of a delivery. Absolute corker.
My prediction's not
And
looking
Coley's
too
got a
good.
big smile on his face.
He has. Yeah, so, yeah, they're tearing through the top order. I can see it right now.
Oh, there's a lot of movement there.
Yeah.
And it could well have been a good toss to Coley to lose, actually, because if England get toppled very early, it'll be a very positive start. Even Ravi Shastri smiling from the sidelines. You know what? Ravi Shastri's incredible. What a motivator. He is one of the best motivators you'll ever get. A very intelligent man. I'm going to stay on a bit longer. Steve, enjoy this. You're on mute. Get Brownie on. Send him the link.
Sorry, Norman. I was just talking to Brownie in the background there, and he's watching the Olympics, and he's tied up with the family. So he said what he'll do is come on later on in the week. And I also mentioned that the Grant Chappell, our other host, because he's a bit of a cricket aficionado as well. And he likes his NFL as well. He's a real all-rounder, our Grant Chappell. Chaps from Rabbitohs Radio, Rabbitohs TV. So, mate, I'm going to wrap it up as well. The missus is home, the bride's home, and I've got to go and clock on. So, mate, it's been fun jumping on.
Your hairdresser's are home.
The hairdresser's here. And, mate, I have enjoyed coming back on with you and talking cricket and talking to all your fans in the comments. And I'm sorry if we haven't answered as many as we should because we're rattling on. But, mate, maybe I'll come back on another night this week and we'll have another chat and I'll try and bring one of the other boys on with us.
Well, if you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and you're bored, just give me a knock and you can come on for the post.
I'll jump in.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining us.
See you all. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you, Steve. Can you believe that, guys? We had a live broadcast from David Speak, who's second in charge of the Barmy Army there, and in the crowd there at Trent Bridge. What an honour to have him there. He gave us a quick insight what it was like. He literally jinxed them because when he was on air, Rory Burns was at LBW to Bumrah for a duck after facing the first 5 deliveries. Sibley is at the moment also on 0, and even Crawley's on 0. Nobody's moving anywhere scoreboard-wise at the moment. So Baramarani probably wants to come on, does he? I'll tell you what, there's been some very nervous English batsmen out there. Very nervous England batsmen. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens here. It's great viewing, guys. All right, Baramarani, do you want to come on, do you? Did you want to come on? Baramarani saying, get him on again so he can be the second wicket. Well, we're with the jinx there, weren't we? Live from the ground, Trent Bridge. What an amazing boost. You're watching the hockey game. So, Baramarani, that is between India and Argentina, the women's hockey, correct? For the gold medal. Is that for the gold medal? Tell me, is it for the gold medal? Give me an update, Baramarani. I'm waiting for your update. Yes, okay. Come on for. Yes, correct. So I was right. So it's India versus Argentina in the women's hockey playoff for the gold and silver position. Oh, it's a semi-final. No, it's the semi-final. Okay. So the winner of that goes through to the gold medal. Okay. So it's at this point they're potentially playing for a gold medal opportunity. If they lose, they then play for a bronze opportunity. to play against Netherlands in the final. Okay, so if India beat Argentina in the hockey women's semi-final, they will play the Netherlands for the gold and silver. If they lose, they'll play for the bronze. So it's a pretty significant match. And if they're leading at the moment against Argentina, that puts them in a great position. And against the Netherlands, they'll be in with a great chance. Absolutely. So Gaurav, I come on my show. I can't while I'm on my show, can I? So you want to come on for 10 or 15 minutes, do you, Barama? Do you? Okay, let me just get the link. Hang on a sec. Are you on my Facebook, Barama? You're not. Oh, yeah. So let me just cancel that. Okay. So let's have a look here. So I'm going on LinkedIn, Baramani. So we'll just work on that one. It's a phenomenal situation here at the moment with this match. So much anticipation. All right, I'll just send it to you. All right, so it's there with you. So let's go back to the cricket. So we've got England in a bit of strife. I'm not sure they've actually had got the account. They're 1 for 1. So yes, Cooley just jagged a single there. So quite incredible. Quite incredible. Amazing effort here, guys. Amazing. Let's keep this going. Waiting for Bram to come on. So at this point, England are 1 for 1 against a very good bowling with Bumrah and Shami. And they've got Siraj there as well. They've got Thakur. They've also got Jadeja. They've got a great side. India's got I like the Indian side. Virat Kohli's done very well now with Ravi Shastri. KL Rahul's been brought in. A lot of certainty about their batting lineup now. A lot of certainty compared to the England side, which is very, very shaky looking. India have got a great opportunity here to go 1-0 in this series. Very, very big opportunity. Very impressive situation indeed. A lot to be said about this. A lot to be said about this. 1 for 1. England chose to toss to bat, and they're in dire straits very early on. If they get 2 or 3 quick wickets here, India are in great ascendancy. They'll be very happy to have been. It was a toss to lose. They're happy to lose the toss. Actually, the ground looks extremely green. The surrounding outfield's lighter colour than the actual pitch. Incredible. Yeah, well, Crawley's learned to let the ball go, which is admirable. A very, very impressive situation here indeed. We've got ourselves here a great audience. The audience is back. The audience is back to watch. So very impressive indeed. But yeah, it was a pity about India. India actually lost Australia have beaten Germany, I think 3-1 in the men's hockey, and they're to play Belgium in the final. Unfortunately, India lost that one. They got beaten by Belgium. But so that leaves Australia to play Belgium in the final for the gold and silver. And of course, Germany play India for the bronze. And in the women's, if they win today, they'll be playing for the gold and silver. But if they lose, they'll play for the bronze. So there's potential for India to get 2 medals out of this. Potentially 2 bronzes at the very least, or maybe a gold, silver if women went through. Big ask. Yeah, Dinesh Karel, I would agree. Bhuvi Kumar may have been an extra factor too here. He would have made him even stronger. Yes, I would agree. But who would you drop? Maybe Thakur would have then had to go. Because Kumar can bat, can't he? Bhuvi Kumar can actually bat. So there's a lot of presence there as well. So quite incredible. And Shami smiling, Kohli smiling, and so is Shastri. They're all smiling. That was so close to an edge. It wasn't funny. Very impressive indeed. Well, they got a single there. There's a single push through the covers there. So Corley's got himself another single eight. He's on 2. So Corley's a very good bat, though. Corley's a very, very good bat. Where are you, Barama? I can't see you. You should be on by now. Barama is trying to get on, so we'll wait and see. Barama, if you just reconnect if you're having a problem, because sometimes it ends up being that way. It gets a bit problematic if you allow yourself to get on. So. Barama is trying to get on. We might let you reconnect. Try and reconnect. Barama, just you'll have to reconnect because it's obviously not. So again, India have done well in the hockey, men's and women's. The men's, they didn't beat Belgium, so they're playing off for the bronze against Germany. Australia did very well. They beat Germany and they're playing Belgium in the final for the gold, silver playoff. Both teams up there. Then you've got, of course, the women. Australia were defeated by the Indian women quite handsomely. And India women play off against who are India women playing? They're playing Argentina, I think that was set. What was set? And if they win that, they play Holland for the gold, silver. So that's a big one. So they're playing for a potential. They're playing for a potential gold, silver, and Australia are out. They're not getting any medal. So yeah, the batting order for England: Rory Burns, Dom Sibley, Zach Crawley, Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow, Dan Lawrence, Josh Butler, Sam Curran, Ollie Robinson, Stuart Broad, and James Anderson. This is the new makeup of the team itself. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Indian women's team leading 1-0 against Argentina. If they win that, they go through to the semi-final. Or they play for the medal round. Very impressive with these. So I don't know if Barama couldn't get on. I'm not sure. I'll have to try again. Yeah, a very, very interesting situation here. Certainly, that looks like Mark. What was that? Ollie Robinson showing in the stands, who's got a Guernsey in this match. He should be very, very happy indeed. But we've got to remember, guys, this is a very significant. That's better this time.
Hi, Norman.
Hello. So, okay, let's just brief us, Barama. Right? You're saying that I should jokingly bring up who's this turkey here? Who's this person? Oh, it's you. All right. Now
That's my good face.
Okay. So, all right. Let's just look at this now. Just go to women's Olympics for a moment. India are playing Argentina, and the winner of that plays Netherlands.
Correct.
For the gold, silver. Is that right?
Yes.
So, what happens if India? Who's the other team who's playing for?
I think it's
right?
England, if I'm not wrong. So
Okay.
Netherlands today won. The match was in the morning. I think Netherlands beat England for reaching the final.
So Netherlands beat England.
Yeah.
Okay. So Netherlands play India potentially for the gold, silver. That's a huge match. Huge match. But on the men's side, Australia beat Germany and will play Belgium for the gold, silver, whereas India are playing Germany for the so-called bronze.
In fact, I saw the Belgium versus India match, and in fact, the first 2 quarters, India was playing. I don't know, from the last 2 quarters, suddenly what happened, but the first 2 quarters, India played very well and was looking really good. And like I don't know. They lost steam in the end or lost the passion. Don't know. But the women's team
I
have,
tell you
have
what,
really entered very positively.
but Australia is the most gold medals Australia's won in a single Olympics is 17. I think we're on 15 at the moment. We could well surpass our highest number of gold
Easily.
medals.
Now, I've
We're
seen
running
this Olympics has been really good for Australia. Like
in the swimming in
and
particular.
yeah.
And Emma McKeon, who won 7 medals, several medals, in fact 7, her father went to school with me, Ron McKeon.
Oh,
And he was actually a Olympic level swimmer himself.
so maybe when I'm in Sydney, I'll tell you to get an autograph for me.
Oh, well, they're not very far from me. In fact, now they've moved down to the south coast, but not far, less than an hour. But Ron McKeon went to school with me. He was our proud player. And he had Steve Maven on before. He played rugby league for South. Very strong part of our upbringing.
Because my sister stays in Sydney, so but it's been long since. I don't know when we'll be allowed to come inside, but looks like maybe more a year or 2 years. Who knows?
Oh, it won't be this year. It won't be next year. More likely, but it will be eventually. But you'll be needing to have the injections, the vaccines, I should say. You'll need to have a vaccine passport. You'll need to be quarantined for 2 weeks, but you'll be able to come. It'll happen. It'll be a bit more cumbersome, but you'll be able to come.
And the only, I think, normal tourism or people going to meet their family will start only when, the quarantine is 0. Like nobody would want to be quarantined for like 14 days one way and again coming back to the home country be quarantined again.
True. But I think you'll
Yeah.
find that the quarantine may be what they would argue to be called self-quarantine, which means it may be a little bit less obstructive as long as you're vaccinated. Now, Bhuvi Kumar, here's a comment there about Bhuvi Kumar. Imagine if he was there, because he's a damn good bowler in these conditions. India would have been even stronger. But look, I think this is the strongest Indian team they could have put on the park. Even though Ishant Sharma's injured, I think this is a better side. I think the fact that even though they've got an opening position that was missing with Gill, then to Agarwal, I think KL Rahul is going to show that he should never have been left out. He could come if Rahul plays well. Imagine if Rahul plays well this series now. He's in. Will they put Agarwal back in for the next test?
I don't think so. In fact, 2 or 3 years back, KL Rahul was like the gem of Indian cricket. Like he was doing everything. He was doing wicket keeping very well. He was like batting. You want to bat him at any position, he was batting. So he was the gem, and then suddenly just went out of color. So, given his performance in that county match, I think he has a lot to prove to himself, and also looking at his long-term career. Whereas
you get my point, don't you? The fact is that you'd have to argue, Gill's out of the series. We know that. Agarwal would have played ahead of Rahul. So if Rahul plays well, does Agarwal have the right to come back in next match? That's the question.
No, I don't think so. They will till maybe if Pujara continues with his bad performance, who knows? Or even Rane. See, right now there are big question marks on Rane, Pujara, and I would even say Kohli, because I've not seen some big innings from them. In last many matches,
you're suggesting that perhaps if Rahul bats well and others don't, that other positions might be up for grabs. That Rahul might drop, Agarwal might come back in, and Rahul might drop down the order or something like that. That could be another option. You're right. That doesn't necessarily mean that Agarwal would go back in and Rahul out. It may well be that Rahul stays. It'll be. I tell you what, though.
Today's team only, like for me, yes, you said that yesterday, but I would like to know your comments. Like in a team, why was Ashwin left out? If you had to they went for 4 seamers. Why leave out Ashwin and keep Jadeja?
Well, I'll tell you the reason. It's to do with Jadeja's batting and batting left-hander against the bowling of both certainly Anderson and to a lesser extent, but also Broad. To have a left-hander in the batting lineup around that middle order is crucial. And they've got Punt there as well, yes, but to have 2, that could negate the success of an Anderson. Now, where that's going to become very crucial in this match is because England have only got 4 bowlers. they expect Anderson and Broad to do well, okay? But if the Indian batsman can survive, like a Pujara survives those bowlers and negates them, they haven't got a lot of depth. They'll have to bring in Root and Lawrence, and that could be an Achilles heel in the England side. England, even though Sam Curran's there as an all-rounder, he's actually a fourth bowler more than an all-rounder in this game, which leaves them very much open. Dan Lawrence is not in good form. The England batting side, they've made a mistake. In my opinion, they've made a mistake really quite seriously, and they're exposed. And now that Jadeja's in there, not only is he a left-hand batter, he's also a left-arm bowler. And there's a lot of right-handers in this England side. And I think that's the reason why. That I think that you'll find there are not many left-hand batters in the England side, are there? Except for Rory Burns. Therefore, Ashwin's importance drops a little bit. That's why they've done it. Okay?
Ashwin's proven to be taking wickets in the English conditions. That's also one factor to be seen. And,
no, but I think it's purely a decision of left and right hand, to be honest with you.
And if I've seen one thing, like if a pitch is not favorable to spinners, Ashwin is one guy who can, still get wickets for you. Whereas Jadeja,
but his batting's not as strong as Jadeja, and he's not a left-hander. He's not a left-hand bowler. The fact that the left-hand factor is important. They've got Shardul Thakur there as well, who can bat and bowl, and they figure that to be a better option than Ashwin. I understand that on the basis of what we're seeing. I predicted that earlier, didn't I? I actually said that.
Correct.
So
in fact, if you ask me, I feel this team is more stronger than the team that was there for the WTC, given the conditions.
Absolutely. Shardul and Siraj is going to make a hell of a difference. Bumrah's bowling better today as well, which is handy. But Siraj hasn't even bowled yet. You watched. He truly should be given the mantle as the best bowler in the Indian lineup. Why? For the future, not necessarily on past record, but for the future. He, to me, is going to take the lead for the Indian bowling attack well into the next 5-10 years.
I believe in this match, who knows? Even Shardul and Siraj both might turn out to be a surprise package, taking 3-4 wickets each.
Have we forgotten how Shardul went with Washington Sundar and the Gabba? His first match, he scored 60 odd and took a number of wickets. Well, I think people have forgotten that. That was an absolutely astonishing performance.
I think in the Australia series, for me, the two partnerships were very, very defining. The one between Ashwin and Vihari. Let me tell you, watching that was really the epitome of Test cricket. That partnership, like
incredible.
So they were not scoring runs, but it was like the pressure, the situation. It was.
Australia could have won that match. Australia could have won that match, and then they would have probably won the game. I'd say
that partnership and so those two partnerships were the game changer in those series. And the second one between Shardul and
Mohammad Siraj got 5 wickets in that innings tonight, which was very significant. And they were talking highly about punt, but they're forgetting the most significant turning point to me was Shardul Thakur and Washington Sundar. Their batting performance. They set the scene.
In the final match, yeah.
They both got 60 on. And they took several wickets each as well. Quite incredible.
And see you should also note that the timing of a partnership that comes in a match, at that it makes a big difference in hitting the morale of the other team. So like when that Washington and Shardul partnership happened, Australia was really at the top. So from there, like when you reverse, like if you look at the 2001 test match where the follow-on thing happened, the morale, you break it so badly then that you really turn the table. So that partnership at that moment was that. And also in the previous match, the one between Vihari and Ashwin, it really, because from a very highly winning situation, like in India, we say that there's a phrase we say that, removing the bone from the dog's mouth. That's
the thing. This is where I'm a bit disappointed with Vihari. Vihari probably deserved a chance in this match. Rahul's got it. I can accept that. But I tell you what, if Rahane doesn't fire, Vihari should be breathing down his neck. Really. Vihari is...
I believe every person in Indian team, there should be somebody breathing down the neck. Even Kohli, right now, there's no one to breathe down his neck, but I believe there should be some. So then only there will be like, I don't know, complacency set in or what. It's difficult to say. It's part
No, I
of the
totally
human
agree. I
psyche,
totally
the
agree.
mind.
But you would argue Kohli's people that are in after his position in the long run are Ishan Kishan, Sky Kumar. Those sorts of players are the ones that will be looking for that position in the long term. I think you'll find they'll be. Oh, that was a close move there. They're appealing. I don't know. Bumrah's bowling a lot better, I must say, because he bowled horrifically for the World Test Championship.
Yeah,
Didn't take a wicket.
Bumrah in the England India series in India and even the WTC final, it did not look that he would take wickets. Yes, he would be economical, yes, but he did not look threatening at all in terms of taking wicket, which is completely anti-Bumrahish. It's
Well,
not what we expect from Bumrah.
The reason why they lost that match, I think, squarely was on Bumrah's back. He went into that game expecting to be the leading bowler, and he did not perform that way at all.
I think I remember the first India Australia series in 2018 or 19, which India won. There, Bumrah was bowling amazing. I still that the slow Yorker that he bowled to get through that left hander, that's still in my mind. It was just amazing at that moment.
Bumrah's high. But I'm impressed with Bumrah. Bumrah's starting point now has set the tone for the ending bowlers. Shami's a great bowler. I'm very excited to see Siraj come on because he'll take wickets. And Shardul's also an attacking bowler. And they've got Jadeja there as well, who can be the variation of the left arm. There's a lot of good about this team.
And also India, what I've also noticed with New Zealand is like they give their fast bowlers 3-4, around 4 over spells, not to extend it like 6, 7, 8 overs. Like for a fast bowler, I believe like 4 or maximum 5 overs a spell is, he needs to recharge their batteries. So that's one thing also where I think in WTC, because of only 3 fast bowlers, that was a problem. But here, let's hope that does not happen.
There's something else about Jadeja, why he should be put in front of Ashwin. Jadeja's fielding is worthy of 30, 40, 50 runs in a match. Let's be honest.
Agree.
And the wicket-taking ability as well. And he has an X factor about him that they do need. And I think that's why he's been included. Even though he himself had a horrible World Test Championship, he played very poorly.
Yeah, I was about to say that of the 3 skills that you just mentioned, none of them clicked in the WTC. Neither is batting, neither is fielding. Like nothing clicked over there. In a way, you can say that Kohli was very. He won the toss, batted first. In the WTC, he had won the toss, right?
Inferno Maroon is saying he's so happy for the people watching women's hockey. Despite that is true. The Indian population at the moment have got one eye on a hockey match and one eye on a test match. Rare that you see that, correct?
Correct.
Is 1-0 still?
It's good that hockey is coming back, and it's really good that hockey is coming back. And I would say it's not just for India, but even the and that too through the women's hockey team is even more thing. And I hope that even other hockey teams in subcontinent, like especially Pakistan, they also come up, because Pakistan was a big, how can you say, a super horse or
a force.
Yeah, a big force in the hockey if you're talking about pre-80s or something like that. And right now they are not even qualified for the Olympics. So I hope that this also gives some vigor and strength to the board over there, and also the Indian hockey. I believe the gates for Indian hockey has opened up, and they will definitely improve from here. Looking at it has sparked interest in the people and scene.
Absolutely. I think it's wonderful. So, all right. So, Barani, why don't we both go? You can go watch you. Thank you for coming on for a little while.
Thank you, Norman. Thanks for inviting me. So
wasn't it fantastic to be live there to the ground? And
that was amazing. And at that exact opportune moment, the wicket fell. That was even more exciting.
And having the second in charge of the Barmy Army coming on TV like that, it's pretty special, isn't it?
I don't know. Before we leave, can you call him again so we have one more wicket?
No, I'll let him go. He'll come on when he wants to come on.
Okay, then Norman, see you.
All right, bro.
Bye-bye.
See if you're awake. I'm on after the game.
It would be. Let's see.
You
It
never
would
know.
be
You
like.
might wake up. You might be having a dream of some sort that might wake you up.
Okay, Norman,
All right, I'm
take
going to
care.
put it in your
Bye-bye.
mind now. I'm going to put dancing girls in your mind. Dancing girls. All right. I've given you the hocus pocus. Baramarani, you'll be thinking dancing girls tonight, all night. They'll be on your mind about 3 a.m. You'll be waking up. I see it.
Yeah, Norman, my wife also watches, or she will watch this. So
I'm talking about dancing. I'm not talking about anything illegal here. Your wife should know that.
Yeah, dancing in a very good way. And
Bollywood fashion. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking that only.
What were you thinking? I was thinking
Yeah.
Indian Bollywood. I wasn't thinking. You were thinking bad. All right.
I don't know. There was a pole in between somewhere, but it was. I think it was the wrong dream. Okay, bye.
All right, bro.
Take care.
Talk to you later.
Ciao.
All right, guys. We've had a good run here. We've had a very good broadcast. On to the game. England are 1 for 16 now with Crawley on 11 and Sibley on 5. They've recovered somewhat from that position, but otherwise we'll say goodbye now. So everyone, thank you very much for joining in. It's been wonderful to have you here for these 2 hours. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've had David speak from the Barmy Army come on. We've had, obviously, the likes of Baramarani from who's in the Philippines, also in Singapore, was it India, and we've had, obviously, Steve Maven from the rugby league background, cricket aficionado coming on. So thank you very much for your time, guys. Please make sure you view, like, and share the posts. And, the way that India are playing now, we're in a great match. I'm so happy about the team selections. It's wonderful to see. And then with the women's hockey too, India looks like they're going to beat Argentina and then play the Netherlands for the gold medal, playing for the bronze potentially against Germany. Oh, not potentially, are playing for the bronze. So that's another great result. So how's that? Very, very good indeed. So again, view, like, and share the posts. Please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, and the notification button will be on after the match and before and after every single match, every single day of every single match. Here on Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick, my Twitter and Instagram handles are at Norm Koch. Please make comments after as well, guys. Very important that you help the channel move and grow. We need to get our subscribers up and start to grow this great concept of a channel. I'm very happy with it indeed, guys. And thanks to you guys. And Ramarani, for example, was a fan. Now he was a guest. Turned the clock very quickly. Quite incredible. We've got a great bunch of people. So, all right, guys. Again, England are 1 for 16 with Crawley on 11 and Sibley on 5. And we saw when we were crossing to the Barmy Army, David speak, we had an amazing situation where Rory Burns was caught trapped LBW off the bowling of, I believe it was Bumrah, for a duck in the opening over, the 5th ball, the opening over. Quite incredible indeed. And so Bumrah's bowling particularly well today. But Crawley just hit the ball handsomely through cover. They'll be running for, it's going to go for 4 actually. So that puts Crawley on to 15. And England are now 1 for 20 after some 8.4 overs. So by no means batting incredibly fast. They can consolidate now. It was a good shot from Crawley. Crawley is a quality player. He's deemed to be someone who can go very well in Australia. We'll just wait and see how he actually does go. It's great to see you here, go. So I'm going to be on post the match, which will be around 10:30 p.m. your time. We'll be on pre every day, post every day. We'll continue that process through all 5 tests. This is the Trent Bridge test. There'll be the Lord, the Oval, there'll be a number of locations which will play. And, it was a great delivery from Bumrah. Bumrah's bowling exceptionally well and a good selection. Shuttles, a good selection. I think also Jadeja staying in is a good selection. And Carroll, a good selection. 4 good selections in the Indian side. Very good. They've kept Pujara. Rahani's got to perform that, but I think there's a lot of potential there for this team to fire. So we'll call it quits now, guys. I can go another 15 minutes if you want, if you're happy with it. But no, we won't. We'll stop it there. Huh? Shardul Thakur, certainly, he must be chomping at the bit, Shardul Thakur. Don't forget, he's got Oh, he's out. Oh, geez, went in there. That was very close. After Shardul Thakur's performance in the game, when he and Washington shouldn't have batted fantastically, both got 60 odds, took 3 wickets odd each, turned the match, not given credit for the match. Punt was given credit for the match, but those two, Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar, and then ultimately Siraj's 5 wickets with Punt won the match. Now, a number of those players are in this match. In fact, 3 of those 4 players are in this team. Significant. You would never have expected to see Siraj or Shardul Thakur play less than a year ago in this team, less than 6, well, a bit over 6 months ago, they were both not in the side. So it's particularly strong effort. Very impressive. So again, stay with this channel. Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek. Cricket Conversations with the Parasani are actually in cahoots or collaboration with us. Both of us on both platforms. Cricket Conversation with the Parasani, I don't know where she is actually, and Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek. We're both together. You can see my ICC World Taps Championship final hat in the Indian thing there. Very good. It was a great match. Unfortunately, India didn't win. New Zealand, arguably, rightfully so, won. So you've got to give them some credit where credit's due, I think, there. I think we're in for a good result there. So before each match, preview, post each match, post review of the day, all 5 days, all 5 test matches. We'll have a number of good guests on. We've had a few already today. We're at the Barmy Army. We're live on the ground. We got a bit of a glimpse of the roar as Rory, well, the dull roar when Rory Burns was dismissed LBW off Bumrah in the first over of the day's play. So yeah, big start to the day's play indeed. All right, we might just have a quick look at the situations there. So, okay, Varane Rani's just given me an update. It's 1-1 now between India and Argentina, which is a bit frustrating. It's a bit frustrating because India are playing Argentina in the women's hockey, and the winner of that plays Netherlands for the gold medal round. And if India lose this match, they play for the bronze against probably England, so that's difficult for them. But in Australia already knocked out, of course, by India. The men's is a bit different. India are playing Germany for the bronze, and Australia playing Belgium for the gold medal, which, of course, I'm ecstatic about, as you would imagine. So Crawley's batting quite solid now. He's on 15. Sibley's on 5. England are 1 for 20. Oh, that was a very wide delivery from Sharmi, but well kept by Punt. Very well kept down the leg side. Punt's not to be sneezed at as a keeper. He's a very good keeper. They've got KL Rahul on the side too now. And Punt's got some pretty fancy-looking glasses. This ball was an in-swinger, and it's certainly swinging. Oh, my God, cut and swing. Very good keeping. Very good keeping indeed. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, this all throughout the time we'll be watching this match. So 1-1 now says, and I want an update for that before we leave. Good to see people back. The audiences are back. They're watching this match with great fervent sort of feeling about it. Very, very impressive indeed. We've got the analytics here show are in for a great series. Certainly a great series. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful series, guys. Keep watching, guys. Keep watching. What a wonderful, wonderful series. Ooh, all certainly hooping around here. Any questions, guys? Again, England are 1 for 20. India went on to win the toss. Sorry, England won the toss and actually elected to bat. So that was the key to it. England winning the toss and electing to bat. There's a lot to be said about this. So they're asking why was Ashwin out. I mean, the reality is Ashwin was not out based on. You can't say it was based on. His performance was. There's nothing wrong with his performance at all. It was. So Bumrah's on the board already. There's been a few questions asked about why wasn't Bumrah. There's a lot to be said about this. It really is. There's a lot to be said about this. I really should be able to get. I'm going to update this whole thing if you look at they probably should bring their bowlers in. I would agree with Brahma. How come you're still watching Brahma? You were on a second ago. Now you're watching. What's going on there? I thought you were under the thumb at home. It's just relentless. This whole match has been relentless. The talk about. I think this is the best Indian side they could have selected under the circumstances. They were without an opener here or there, but KL Rahul is going to take his opportunity with both, with a great deal of aplomb. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, so Bumrah has had a pretty poor start to the England campaign, having lost the World Test Championship. But that was a pity they didn't play that match after. Really a pity. So England, again, just to make that very clear, England won the toss, elected to bat, which India would have done the same thing, but the bowling is the key to both teams, I think. Their batting's more of survival mode, to be honest. I'm just going to see the commentary there. So it's good. So Baramurani is watching the hockey, cricket, and watching me all at once. So Baramurani, I want you to keep me up to date. I want you to tell me that second India score that goal, because we'll assume that'll happen pretty soon. I'm just updating a few things here. It's important for me to update. I'm going to update while I talk, guys, because it's important to keep everybody informed about. Some people may not have the ability to see what we see. Let's get that clear. So. A lot to be said about this. A lot to be said about this. I'm just updating a few things here, guys. Bear with me a second. I'm right with you. But I do think this is amazing. You missed it, guys. I had the Barmy Army on live before. That was just amazing. It was just an amazing moment to be able to have that going on. It was just a real nice little surprise. Indeed. So Shardul Thakur and, of course, Siraj are in there. Great selection. Rahul, KL, his attitude will be the right piece for this, I'd say. Or eating, sorry. You'll see all my posts there in the community page. We'll just have a quick look at the match again. I'm very, very impressed with the way that Sibley's hanging in. Crawley's you've got to give England some credit as well. They've actually kept Crawley and Sibley in. Not unlike the way that India have kept Rahane and Pujara in, despite it all. So Bumrah's bowling very, very well. England are negating him at the moment, but definitely India are bowling very well. Shami, and they've still not used Siraj, and they've got to use Shardul Thakur, and they've got Jadeja. They've got a great bowling. Very, very, very positive, very attacking feeling about this bowling line. I'm very, very impressed I think we have a little issue that we're going to have we should see all 20 wickets fall in both teams. Admittedly, the first 2.5 days look like they'll be weather okay, with the fourth and fifth day being a bit inclement. But I reckon we'll get a result. I really do. I don't know what your thoughts are. Barami, what about some updates on the India-Argentina? Barami, you got to tell me. Oh, another incredible delivery from Bumrah. Smiling from ear to ear, he is. Quite incredible. Tough going, yes, Richard Vernon. It certainly is tough going. Banstead boy. England can count themselves very lucky that they haven't lost a couple more wickets, to be honest with you. A lot of close. That one, they could have easily bowled him. Bumrah and Shami bowling excellently and really. Gareth Banker, they didn't drop Ishant Sharma. He was actually injured. So you got that wrong, Gareth Banker. So Ishant Sharma was injured. That's why he was not on the team. The same goes with Ollie Pope was not on the team because he's also injured. And we know Gill's out. Agarwal is also out because of injury. The only decision that was not based on injury was the Ashwin was replaced by Shardul Thakur. Now, Gareth Banker, both Brahman and I both spoken about that. Even though Jadeja played poorly in the World Test Championship and you'd argue Ashwin bowled well, Jadeja was a left-hander and also left-arm bowler and left-hand batter. Olympics 2024, I would agree with that. 2024, well, that's going to be a bit steep, but we never know. So Ashwin is right arm. His batting is pretty good, but Jadeja is slightly better. Jadeja's left-hand batter with punt. They need to have that alternative to negate the likes of Anderson. And his bowling also against a number of right-handers will come very, very handy. That's fine. Okay, that's the reason for it. But India needs to see that. England has scored less than 200 in the first innings, considering batting loss. Yes, I think 200 will be anything around, well, I'm saying 250 is the highest you'll see. Yeah, it could be a lot less than that. I think England have so far survived a very difficult period. And that is Crawley and Sibley. Either one of those should have gone by now too. I would have thought Rory Burns would be the most difficult one to dislodge, but he was the first one to go. If they get him to root and Bairstow early, it could be more of a difference. And that's why I think that they need just a little bit more. They need a couple more wickets to go their way at the moment. They're not quite there yet. Short ball there from Shami. I'm not sure. He's just getting back on the back foot. There. Anyway. Well, we've got Mohammed Kaif and I think it's the opener there. What's his name? I've forgotten his name. Atherton. They're the commentary box people with Nasser Hussain there as well. Nasser Hussain's always there. All right, we'll see. Sibley now is on 8, Crawley on 16. And Shami's bowling well. So is Bumrah. Can't wait to see Siraj and Shardul Thakur. They'll be on soon. Cricket is under pressure after a good show by hockey team. Time to justify the millions of income. Well, that's true. Men's and women's hockey certainly leaps and bounds if India can win the women's gold medal and win a bronze with the men's, which is what the best they can do now. Australia will definitely be, a very good chance of winning the men's gold. Can't figure out all the women's because they've been knocked out by India, haven't they? Oh, great bowling. Gaurav, hi, auntie. Since when am I an auntie? I mean, with this beard, I hope you haven't got too many aunties with this sort of beard. And with that backdrop with the KL Rahul situation, and eyes on cricket. So back to the eyes on cricket hat. It was great. We went live today to the ground there at Trent Bridge with the Barmy Army. David Speed came on. It was just amazing. Amazing moment. Amazing moment. So Richard Vernon, Banster boy, hates pants sunglasses. Well, you and I are not his age, Mr. Banster boy. So are you? Where are you, Richard? Where are you, Richard? Are you? You're not on the link here. So where are you? You're sending me Facebook messenger comments, which is rather cumbersome. So the wicket take India. He's played 16. This is Mohammad Shami. He's played 16 matches in India. He's taken 62 wickets. He's played 8. Australia got 31. England 10, 25. He just got home. And then you got South Africa 5 wickets, 5 inning matches of 21. West Indies 6 for 20. You got no link. You want to? Well, I already have. I'll get your link. Hang on. Hang on. Richard Vernon has a link now, so he should be coming on. Okay. We'll be able to just check out what's going on there, which has certainly been good. Just trying to pull up the game. Which is how are you, Richard?
Hi everyone, how are you, Norman? Good to see you.
Good. Do you realise we had a live cross? Did you see that?
I didn't. Norman, I've got to be honest, I've literally just walked in the door. I've been working all morning. It's midday here now. So, and I've only on my mobile, so that's why
Well, I had Steve Maven of Rugby League. I had a few others, but the most important thing is I had a live cross to the Barmy Army on the first over of the day's play.
Wow, Norman, what a shot by Crawley. He's a class player, young Crawley, you know.
Oh, I've got no doubt. He's weathered a very big storm here early on because Bumrah's been bowling very, very well.
We talked about this. I know you've had lots of guests on. I haven't been on for a while. When the overheads, you don't look down, you look up. They've left a bit of grass on the wicket because that's what we often do.
That's a lovely shot. Crawley's shot.
Straight to extra cover. You've got to look at the weather, the overheads. It's a little bit overcast. There's a bit of green in the pitch. It's going to do a bit. I mean, it was a brave decision to bat first, especially if you're not going to play a spinner. I mean, that would almost be unheard of, bat first with no spinner. But the weather forecast suggests that today is the day to put a score on the board and then have India batting with rain and heavy skies tomorrow and Friday. And I think that's why he's done it.
But they've only gone into the match with 4 bowlers.
No, let me think.
Yes.
But 4 seamers is plenty, isn't it? And
but hang on. You should not go into a test match with anything more than 5 bowlers.
Yeah, or 4. What do you say?
4 bowlers and an all-rounder of quality. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, actually, one of their 4 bowlers is an all-rounder. Sam
Curran, yeah. So they've gone in with 3 frontline seamers.
Yep.
And Curran.
And that's it.
Yeah, but Norman, hold on. The Aussies have been doing that for years. When was the last time the Aussies had a proper all-rounder?
No, they haven't. We go in with Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark, and we'll have
Lyon.
We'll have Lyon. That's 4.
Yeah.
But then they'll have an all-rounder like a Green in the side.
Hold on, Norman. He's only just come in the side. Who before that? Who was filling that all-rounder role? They've struggled, the Aussies. So
I think they couldn't. If you look at the England side today, they're in danger of being rolled. They are in danger.
Yeah, but they've gone in with the extra batsman. You're saying they should have gone in with the extra.
Yeah, but Lawrence is in horrible form, really.
They've
lost Ollie Pope. They've got a very brittle batting lineup.
How can you say Lawrence is in terrible form? He batted pretty well against New Zealand. He got 70 or 80. The last
against India, he's batted atrociously.
Yeah, but that's on a sandpit in India. It's a very, very different thing here.
Actually, just take away from that for a moment. The Indian selections for this test have been superb. Siraj, Shardul Thakur,
I
even
agree.
KL Rahul.
I agree. They've got a better selection than they certainly did against New Zealand. I absolutely agree that they shouldn't have gone in with two spinners, and they haven't. And I think that they've learnt a lesson there. They've gone in with Thakur, I guess, to give a little bit of extra batting, haven't they? Because if they'd gone in,
England lost very badly to New Zealand without any spin on the side.
Yeah.
Yet they've done it again.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree, but they're looking at the conditions and the weather, and I don't think spin is going to play a major part.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see Jadeja bowling a lot.
Over. Rory Burns went the first over. On form of late, Sibley and Crawley could have followed right after them. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there would have been 3, possibly 4 down. They would have been in deep trouble. Okay. That's my point. That's why there's a vulnerability to the Indian batting line at the moment. Whereas India, despite the fact that some of them haven't fired, there's more certainty about their batting lineup. With KL Rahul in, they've got a very experienced top 5.
Hold on. In these conditions, are you saying to me that the India would be 0 or only 1 down at this stage against Broad and Anderson? It would have been equally as difficult for them. The fact is,
I don't deny
we've only
that.
lost 1 wicket.
I don't deny that, but I think I'm not saying that, but I'm saying to you that they've got 2 left-handers in the middle order, Punt and Jadeja. Clever. They didn't select Ashwin. Clever, because really Ashwin on form should have been selected because he played better than Jadeja in the World Test Championship. Bumrah had a shocker, but he's bowling well here today.
Yeah,
Shami's bowling really well.
You would have dropped him.
I would have.
And you weren't listening to your star guests who all told you that Bumrah is one of the best bowlers in the world.
But hang on, I was right with Jadeja though. the entire Indian press have been saying Ashwin should have been over Jadeja, and have gone the opposite. Okay.
They've gone the opposite way. I tell you why they've gone the opposite way, because they think that he's not going to do much bowling, just maybe a few overs, and they think he's a better batter.
And he's a left-hand batter.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. I like Jadeja, and he's a gun fielder. Normally,
I watched this particular broadcast. It's where we're would you believe already at 2.5 hours.
I can see 2 hours 31:55.
So,
it comes
but,
up
but I'm just saying to you. But you go back to the beginning of the match.
They had Barmy Army on.
And he live to the ground, David Speake sitting there, and as he was talking, the wicket fell.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, hopefully when we go to Lords, you might be able to get Chris on live from Lords. I think he's intending to go up to Lords.
Yeah. Well, despite we won't talk about yesterday, but we've had a chat, so we won't mention it. Okay. But
but I've got to tell you.
No, don't. You won't. No, you're not telling me. You're not telling me.
There were some very funny bits.
Lawrence was decent and subcontinent. Well, okay.
Young Lawrence is a young lad, and he has not done terribly. He's not brilliant, but he's got a couple of scores.
I'm not a fan of what I see. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not a fan of Sibley either. I think someone asked a question yesterday. I was trying to answer a few questions while you were on, because probably Alan was going off on tangents. I think that Hamid has got a really good chance of playing here.
Well, at the moment, Sibley's holding his end.
Yeah, that's what he does. And he's going to do it. If we can get through this session, everybody knows that in England, well, I'm going to tell everyone who's listening, in England, when you bat first on the first day, it's just about surviving the first session. There's every chance that this wicket will get a lot better during the afternoon and evening sessions on day 1. And into day 2.
There's some amazing deliveries going on. What I'm saying, it's amazing.
It's doing all sorts. It's. But
Bumrah and Shami have been impressive. I want to see Siraj. They should be letting Siraj loose.
Well, Crawley's just whacked that one for a single. They've learnt their lessons a bit. They're pitching it up more. Do you remember we talked about that, of getting their lengths a bit fuller? Look, these are world-class bowlers, Norman. And in these conditions, world-class bowlers have a right to be good. And the batsmen have got to do everything they can just to guts it out.
But I'll tell you what, Bumrah chose the worst possible match to not play while the World Test Championship. Let's be honest. That was the worst possible match to play at his worst.
A bit undercooked, wasn't he? He just got married, I think, and he'd been away, and and it's
But
hard.
hang on, but it was one of the biggest matches. It was a World Cup. Even though you might be down, you get up for those sort of matches. You know,
You
I
do,
don't
but
excuse
hold on, Norman. You've played cricket like I've played cricket. India flew in, had no proper practice games, and played in a massive game on Lords, which is difficult sometimes to get accustomed to as a bowler. It's a big slope if people haven't been there or seen it. You have to go to Lords. You don't see it on the television quite how big the slope is on the ground. I think it goes over 6 feet from one side to the other.
It is the most incredible pitch or ground ever in the world, and the fact they haven't changed it, take your hat off to them. Seriously, it's brilliant.
But when you see it on television, you don't realise quite how difficult. And batting and bowling on that, it's difficult. And India, as I say, they came over and they didn't have any practice games, not proper games, whereas New Zealand had 2 test matches, and they got caught a bit cold. They got it. I think they got it, and they picked the wrong side. I think they got it wrong. They're much more on it today. Although you look at that ball from Shami, and it's gone past the outside, it's too short. You've got to be a bloody good player.
He's getting a bit erratic now, I must say. There's a bit of
it looks great on telly when they bang it in, short, and the batsman misses it. But if it's too short, they need to get it a little bit fuller. But
I tell you what, though, there's been a couple of deliveries which have been absolute corkers there.
Yeah. There has been one brilliant thing happened in the last 24 hours, though, Norman. Did you notice? I'm sure you didn't see it.
What's that?
Australia got thumped by Bangladesh in the 2020.
108, yes, I saw that. But you know what? Hang on. We're still beating you on the medals tallies, pal. We're still in front of you. I
think we've had a great games. It's been fantastic. Did you see the BMX freestyle? I know I'm only saying, I'm not just saying because our girl won. She did a trick that had never been performed before, and she fell off her bike on her first go at it in the first run, and she went out and did it again and pulled it off in the second and won gold medal. Well, hats off.
And our men's winner was also pretty freaky with what he did too.
Oh, Norman, it's that freestyle BMXing is oh my God. It's unbelievable.
What's been your highlight of the whole Olympics so far?
Well, you're always slightly tainted by your own national fervour, aren't you?
Of course.
We had a weightlifter who got a silver medal 2 days ago, and she had a personal best of 153 kgs. She had to go for 162, a personal best, to get the silver. She lifted the bar and she staggered, and legs nearly gave out, and she just held it, and then she put it up, and she was, when they go, and she eventually held it, and the siren goes for a clean lift, and the smile that came out on her face when it was just amazing. I've got to tell you, it was just amazing, and that's what it's about, isn't it? Isn't that what it's about? Someone doing a personal best. The girl who got us silver yesterday in the 800. She ran a British record to get silver, and that's what I think is awesome, Norman.
Oh God, yeah.
I've seen a couple of the Aussies going out. Didn't one of your swimmers set an all-time record for most medals? Did I see that?
That's a great. I'm glad you mentioned her because Emma McKeon, her father Ron McKeon, went to school with me.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome.
And he was an Olympic and a Commonwealth Games swimmer himself. He didn't win any gold medals, but he was he competed in it. So so his daughter's outdone him by a chocolate. He's so proud. She got 3 gold medals.
Yeah,
1 bronze and 3 gold, 1 silver, 3 bronze.
Brilliant. For all the banter we have, and we do, and this is only banter between us.
Yeah.
I cheer on the Aussies. I love I can't. Anyone don't believe me. I love Australians. I love being there. I love them when they come over as our overseas pros. And if you tell me what my favourite one of my favourite all-time sporting memories, Kathy Freeman in Sydney.
Oh,
I'm tearing up now, Norman. I cried. That transcended sport, that moment for me.
Well, I told you the history of that particular day, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, and we knew it. We were told. And
no, but I told you what happened after, didn't I? How I met the brothers. I told you.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you met the brothers and went out. But I mean,
she is the most wonderful woman.
Yeah.
She is the most deserving, heartwarming, decent person you've ever met.
Yeah. We cheered her on. The whole of the Great Britain. I'm promising you, Norman, we cheered her on. Forget nationalities, because we love the Aussies. We do. And we were cheering her to victory as well. It was awesome.
Especially being in Australia.
It matters. We had it in London 2012. We were cheering our own homegrown to win your own, but yeah, in your own country to win. But she was more than that. It was a history and everything that went with her, and then the weight of a nation, Norman. Oh God!
And you know what? Her legacy from that day, the amount of Aboriginal young children that want to play sport, who want to be in athletics, who want to do whatever they can, they all are inspired by her. They all look to her as a real champion. So really, and you can argue Ash Barty's a bit like that now, having won the tennis the way that she did, although she got knocked out in the first round of the Olympics, but that just the way that she did it. She played cricket, as you know, for the WBBL.
The Big Bash, yeah.
She actually gave up tennis to play cricket. And then thought, now I'll go back to cricket, back to tennis, and then won a number one. Have you ever heard of someone being in tennis, giving it up when you're not near the top, playing another sport, then coming back and being number one?
It's brilliant, isn't it?
That's phenomenal.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
And she's so Aboriginal. I'm talking generally here. Aboriginal people are some of the most humble people, the most mentally clear people, and they have a certain innateness about them, the way they do things. The only exception would be Anthony Mundine, who played rugby league, who was a bit of a lair, but mostly they're very humble, very much together, very much,
the Maori people, aren't they, Norman? You'd say the Maori people in New Zealand are similar, aren't they?
Oh yeah, for sure, no doubt. Very, very similar. Very, very similar.
Yeah,
very, very similar.
I mean, in their attitude, I'm not mean culturally, because I don't know. Oh, what a ball! Oh, geez, that's Thacker's first ball of the Test series. That is an absolute beauty. He has bowled that. It is swung from about Midland leg and missed off.
You know what? Shardul Tuckle, watch out. Shardul Tuckle could become, not Ben Stokes, but he's got this.
If he keeps that length, that's where you've got to be bowling it. Imagine me and you facing this, Norman.
I'm watching it now.
We wouldn't get two houses of it, would we? That's a great delivery, isn't it?
Unplayable.
Yeah.
Even Anderson would be proud of that ball.
He's played that nicely second. I've got it on the live feed. You're slightly behind, I would guess. Are you on your feed?
I'm very interested to see how Anderson and Broad bowl. Why?
I'm going to answer you that. They'll bowl well. I promise you.
No, but I'm just saying, we've talked about this before.
There can be
great bowlers, great records, great level. Everything's excellent, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. I don't want them to be below their best. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I don't want them to peter out. I want them to leave at their peak. So if they keep playing well, that's great. But if they have an ordinary series, or for that matter, an ordinary Ashes series, for whatever reason, and go out next year in a whimper, I don't want that.
Well, you don't think Anderson should be playing anyway, you said. You think he should be well gone by now. He should have gone. He should be packed up and gone.
It's not about being... I'm not against the players. I'm talking about that they have reached ages where they've done more than enough to... Anderson's record's the best in the world. He's at the pinnacle of results.
Yeah.
I just don't want him to falter.
Well, the thing with Anderson, and we spoke about this last time.
I meant it loving.
Unbelievably fit, and he's bowled pretty well against New Zealand. And he was saying, there was an interview with him the other day where he's saying that his wife encouraged him to play on. I think I saw there was an interview.
He's fit enough. That's what the real issue is. Is he fit enough? He's mentally strong enough. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah. Mentally, he's strong enough. It's not an issue of being mentally strong. It's his physicality.
He's on record as saying he's as fit as he's ever been. He works on it very hard. I think he'll bowl well. I think Broad is a better bowler in the last three years.
Well, Broad's a better bowler on this wicket. This is
Well, he had
this is where he's destroyed Australia. Remember?
Yeah, he remodelled his action a little bit a few years ago. He had a few problems. and he went away and he worked. I don't know. He put out a few videos of what he was doing, and he started from scratch. He went back to complete basics and reworked his action, and it's made what he's got is being able to then he's got the off cutter to the left-handers, and statistically is the best bowler in the world at left-handers over the last 3 or 4 years or something. He got Warner, didn't he, for fun?
Warner and he made a mess of Warner.
Yeah,
I don't think Warner's recovered since then, to be honest.
No, but he gets it fuller now. Rory bowls it a little bit fuller. That extra yard makes a difference, especially in English conditions. I think when we go out to Australia, and Norman, I've got some. I don't know what you've heard, but I heard some interesting stuff about the Ashes this morning.
Is that about the women, the families coming?
Well, from what was reported, a lot of the English players are not happy with the schedule and the fact that they're going to be bubbled and that families won't be allowed in, or if they are, they're going to have to quarantine. And you can't ask your wife and 2 kids to quarantine for 14 days in a hotel room. And
well, that's what's happening now. You saw my interview. I had an interview with a girl called Jimasina Hopewadi, who's married to Will Hopewadi, who plays rugby league for the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
she has 4 children, 4, 3, 2, and 1. She got out today. I talked to her in lockdown. Incredible story.
Well, from what
did you see that?
I didn't, but I will watch it. I will catch up, Norman.
That's one you should watch.
The noises that are coming out are that the England players are in negotiations with the ECB and Cricket England at the moment, and if things aren't addressed, then at least half the team are not happy to travel to Australia this winter, is what has been.
You and I both know that that's not going to be the case.
It's down to the Australian authorities, because apparently they relaxed it a little bit for India's tour. They made some concessions to the Indian sides, and
the Indian teams, Indian family stayed with the players in the bubble as they transitioned.
I can understand why a married family man. Look, Don Bess was interviewed and he said, "I don't care. I'm happy. I'm going. I want to go to Australia." But he's a young lad, not married. But a family man like Joss Butler or Joe Root, Joe Root's got 2 young children, you can't ask him to
Johnny Bairstow? What about Johnny Bairstow?
I don't think Johnny Bairstow's a married man, from what I've heard.
Well, he's
not married, as far as I'm aware. He's a young single guy.
No, well, but there's a bit more to that story.
Well, Norman, I'm not interested in hearsay and speculation.
I didn't say a word.
And it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
I was just being cheeky.
I know you are. Just big test for Johnny Bairstow. He wouldn't have been playing, I don't think, in the first 11, as it was.
Well, see, I would have played Bairstow over Lawrence. I think I've told that to you last time.
But Bairstow hasn't played a red ball game this year, apart from the testing he played out in last.
Well, it's his 75th Test match today. Yeah. He's got a 75th Test cap today.
Yeah, but as I told you before, in his last 2 years of Test cricket, he averaged 18. I think he batted pretty well. He came at Sri Lanka. He played in the winter, but he hasn't played a red ball game since then. He's been playing white ball cricket.
Simon Oliver, do you know Simon Oliver?
Simon Oliver, I do. Oh, the journalist.
Well, no, there's someone here who's just made a comment called Simon Oliver.
Oh, no, well, I can't read it. Sorry, I'm on my little.
England top order are a lot of okay, but not any great batsmen. So,
okay, so I like Simon Oliver, and it's good to see him. I hope he subscribes. Who would he pick? The problem England have got is, who would you have? Who's there? Who's out there? Alistair Cook's been churning a few runs out. He's retired. Who else is there?
Okay, no, but hang on. Let's go. I want to go to the next point. Suradeep Malik's made my point. Greats or legends announce retirements quickly. That is the matter, especially Cook or Shane Warne or a number of players. That's what I'm saying about Anderson and Broad. I want them to go out on a high. Now, Anderson can play another year or 2. I get that. But he should go out on a high. And if they win this series or something like that, this is his home country.
This is you not wanting him to come to Australia, Norman. This
It's
is
not
you.
about that. It's not
It is
about that.
about that. If Anderson
it's
bowls
not.
well in this series,
It's not.
he's
It's not
not going to
about.
retire.
It's not about
That's
that.
it.
It's about. He's 39. He's got
39.
3,000 million tests and
Broad's
3,000 million
Broad's
wickets.
only 35. Broad could go on for a few years.
Well, let's
Broad's
just talk
40
about.
years
Let's just talk
younger.
about how old's Anderson?
39. I think he turns 40 before he arrives in Australia. I think he turns 40 before then. I mean, he could be playing for the West Indies, couldn't he? He'd
No,
be a
you knocked
youngster.
the West Indies. You knocked the West Indies. And don't you tell me now you're being hypocritical.
No, absolutely. The West Indies got beaten by the way, Norman, Pakistan beat the Windies. Did you see? Yeah, I'm telling you now, I know our Indian fans don't like it. Pakistan 2020 need to be watched. They are decent side.
Oh yeah, but so are the West Indies. I mean, and Australia, what hope have they got? This is a joke.
Well, I think you'll win the Ashes. I don't see us winning the Ashes, Norman.
Australia will not get into the last four. There's no way. There's no way they'll get it.
What about the Ashes? I know you're not a fan.
Hang on, we're going to play one thing at a time. IPL, then there's the World
Okay.
Cup. The World Cup, Australia will not make the final four.
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think
they probably lose. They probably lose the qualifier now to even qualify if they had to. They're playing so badly. You can't excuse this Bangladesh match. You cannot say, "Oh, it's not important."
Conditions, isn't it? It's hard. Playing in Bangladesh is hard, Norman. They've just come from.
But Reg, this is their last hit out before the World Cup. This is their last hit out before the World Cup. You're supposed to be at your best and getting ready for a World Cup, not getting all out for 108 to Bangladesh. It's inexcusable. It's disgraceful. Matthew Wade is captain. What? Now, explain this to me. Alex Carey was made captain for the ODI. He's playing in this T20 side, and he's not captain. They put Matthew Wade as captain. What the hell's going on? Matthew Wade is a joke.
I don't. Where's the next Australian Test captain? Is he still injured?
Yes.
Finch. So he's another lightweight, isn't he? What's wrong with him?
Well, he's injured.
What's he done? Broken a fingernail or something?
Oh, don't start. I'll start talking about Ben Stokes in a minute. What's wrong with Ben Stokes? Has he been listening? Has he been talking to Chris and Alan in a conversation together? Has he or something?
His finger hasn't repaired, is it? He's got a problem with his finger.
Are you telling me? Hang on, he played against Pakistan just a few weeks ago. What are you talking about? And
his finger was bad. Apparently, he dropped a catch in 100.
He's not in the team because of mental issues.
And his finger's not repaired. He's definitely got some
but
problems.
He wouldn't be out for the whole 5 tests if it was just his finger.
No, and I feel very sorry
for
him.
So his mental issues are the paramount problem he has is his mental issues, not his finger.
No, yeah, I think it's a mixture, and I agree with you.
Oh no,
I agree.
The mental issue is there. Mental issue is there, and the finger injury is down here.
Yeah, but the finger injury wasn't right, and it's not right now. I think he'd be struggling.
But even the press, even the English press, has come out pretty clearly and said it's a mental issue, and Root has as well.
I mean, he's clearly because he's pretty mentally strong. If you see some of the things he's gone through, so it must be pretty bad.
I don't think we know the full extent of what's wrong with him. Let's be honest.
No, I feel
he might have a bout of depression. We don't know.
We just need all cricketers to be safe and well mentally.
No, I'm not knocking him, but I'm saying to you, it's a serious matter. And Root has actually made it very clear that this may be a long-term matter.
Yeah. Well, I think he'll be back for the Ashes. I think he will take the summer. I will be surprised if he goes to the IPL. He might do. I don't think you'll see him in the World Cup because I think England have got enough to cover in the 2020 World Cup. And I think that they'll say to him, if you feel ready, please come down under to Australia. And I think you'll see him back for that. Yeah. We need him because without him, the balance goes in our side. And I think what they need to do, Norman, England have got a problem without Stokes for balance.
But Sam Curran can take that position.
No, I don't agree with you because you need a spinner. We will need a spinner.
Sorry. Ben Stokes is not a spinner, so
but when Ben Stokes in the side, that gives you that extra seam option, which means you can play your spinner down the bottom of the order.
Sam Curran is your extra seam option too. He can bat, so I think it's a like for like. Do you think Sam Curran would Sam Curran have been selected if Ben Stokes was available?
No, I don't think he would.
Right. Well, there's a like for replacement then.
But he's not as good, is he? But what I think they'll do.
Well, not yet.
I
He's
think
not.
what-
But I reckon okay. Just let me quickly. I'm going to make this point. KL Rahul, Shardul Thakur, and Siraj, and Sam Curran are in a special situation in this Test series. They've been given an opportunity due to a lot of circumstances. They weren't expected to be in this particular match. Okay, they're in here and they're going to make hay while the sun shines because they could actually then keep others out. He won't keep Ben Stokes out, but Sam Curran may be able to make a fist of a position in the team now.
Yeah, they like Sam Curran, and he's feisty and he's good. But
David Gravely would have been on today, but he was travelling to Southampton. But he'll be on. There's a show after the game, by the way. Can you be on for that?
If you've got a more important guest, I understand fully, Norman. But yeah, I should be around.
Well, Monty's going to try and get on to it.
But what I think I will put the point to David and to Monty that what England needs to do, I think, without Stokes, is getting Moeen Ali, or I don't mind Livingston as an all-rounder. See, Moeen Ali can then fill the berth of your spin bowler and not weaken the batting. And
is Moeen Ali injured? Moeen Ali,
he's not
playing in the 100, isn't he?
Playing in the 100, yeah. He's playing for Birmingham in the 100. He's captaining the side. So
when do they play? Are they playing tomorrow or tonight?
The 100 is on every day for 4 weeks. Every single day. They've crammed it all in.
I'm sorry, that's disgusting. You got a test match here. This should be your priority, not the 100.
But the 100 game won't start until the test match finish for the day.
I'm very, very annoyed that England are slating a game of the 100 during this test match. I'm extremely annoyed.
Every day of the test match, Norman. There's a 100 game on every day for the next 3 weeks. Every day.
I find that offensive.
And 2 on the weekend. I think
that's offensive. That's offensive.
But they've got to cram it in. They couldn't get it in otherwise, could they?
Yeah, but I think it's offensive. I think it's very offensive. You've got to. We in Australia, we try very much to keep those things separate. We try not to keep them overlap for a lot of reasons. You can't expect a kid or an adult to watch a test match and then watch a BBL. It breaks their ability to do that, and it's like putting on 2 major games at the same time.
Yeah.
I
would rather watch the test, Norman. We've discussed this.
Well, they made a mistake there. They should have made a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah. The good news is, by the way, Archer. You know, Archer is back. Did you know what was wrong with him? Did that get
his elbow? His elbow.
Yeah, he had a bit of bone that was growing out from his
chronic elbow injury. It's not going to go away.
But it was a bit of bone that was growing, and they've shaved that back, and they say that after the scarring goes down a little bit, he should be back full fit. And he's
I'm not a doctor.
But
I would doubt that he can be back to. It'll be a chronic injury. That's not the end of it. He'll have to have. When you have these sort of injuries, you have further follow-up surgeries down the track, and it's a constant. There's a constant. Because it grows back. Because it grows back.
Well, they
a body part that's got a growth of a bone, when you shave it back, what happens? The bone grows back.
I wish I could do the same with my genitalia, Norman. I wish I could shave it back and it would grow back even bigger and stronger.
Okay. But the reality is, if your genetics have ordained that your bone is bigger in a certain spot for whatever reason, when it's shaven back, it actually grows back. So that I know for a fact that injury is chronic. That means he's going to have a repeat of that over time.
That's just wishful thinking because he's going to stick a few up Steve Smith this winter.
Not at all. I think it's just a medical discussion here.
You don't want Jofra and Mark Wood bowling at you in Perth, do you, Norman?
We haven't got a good enough side, I'm afraid. We're
a great shot by Crawley, by the way. He's just pulled Takar in front of mid-wicket.
This is probably more interesting to me with a Crawley can bat well like this in Australia. I want to see him do this in Australia.
He's had a rough
coming
time.
Up to 3 hours now. We're coming up to 3 hours now.
I know. I only thought I'd come on quickly to give you
we've still got an audience because people are watching us because
I've no idea how many people are watching at the moment.
Well, we've had about close to 5,000.
Yeah, and how many are online at the moment? Does it say, Norman? If they've got any questions,
it isn't a large number now.
No, but if anyone's got a quick question, I'm more than happy because I'm just sat here in my living room, as you can see, watching the cricket live. So, and holding my phone.
But they're bringing up the point that I brought up. Mookie's bringing up, you don't want to drag it out like Tendulkar did from 2011 to 2013. Anderson Broad can go out on a high in a home series. Very correct.
Of course they can, but if they're good enough and they think they're still good, look, I like the way the Australians often do these things, and I think I'm right in saying that a couple of very successful Australians, I think Alan Balder was one. You tell me if I'm wrong. Was given the discussion, the Australian board said, "Would you like to consider retiring? If you want to go out on your own volition rather than us drop you." Does that make? Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're giving the player a hint that he's close to being dropped.
Yeah, a little bit of a hint, and then letting.
I tell you what, Shane Warne didn't have that. Mike Hussey didn't have that. A lot of players.
Steve Warne, I think, had that, didn't he? Didn't they have a
no?
Okay, but Border definitely. I'm sure that Border.
But I get your point, but the reality is, I don't think you want to see Anderson Broad have that conversation.
I don't want to see them get dropped because they've gone on too long.
Broad went very close. Broad went very close not long ago, didn't he? He was very close to being dropped.
Well, he got dropped for the first test last summer. He was left out. Oh, they rotate. They call it. They call it rotation. No, it's rubbish. He was left out the side. Turned around. Did you see the interview he gave on Sky? Oh, it's brilliant. He turned around and said, "I'm not happy. I don't think I should have been left out. I'm not happy. I want to be back in." Came back in and won man of the series.
Yeah, but it'd been most players.
Brilliantly.
A lot of players get dropped and they're not happy and they never get back in.
But he turned around and said it. How often do you see a professional sports, especially in cricket, not toe the party line?
You're on a tightrope when you start to play with out of form, in form scenarios at that age. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Back and one man the series. So
if Ollie Robinson comes through now like he is, and Mark Wood continues. They've got bowling depth coming through. They've got a few players coming through.
Wokes is the man. I mean, Wokes against New Zealand was stunning. He's going to give India all sorts of problems when he gets back in the side.
Okay, but the bottom line is Anderson in particular, and to a lesser extent Broad, need to be smart about it. It's either got to be, in my opinion, this series or the next series against the Ashes, or a home series, and that is it.
Well, I think
I'd be surprised if it's this time next year, if they haven't retired on their own fruition, they'll be dropped.
If we were to win the Ashes this down under, I don't think we will, but if we were, I'd be amazed if Anderson doesn't retire. You can't go out.
So are you saying Anderson will retire in Australia?
I think that if it's nice to play a home series, isn't it, Norman? But I think you can't go on a better high.
This is important for Indian news. Argentina have beaten India, so India played for the bronze.
Is that in the hockey?
Yeah, India beat Australia, of course, and so that means India will play England actually for the bronze. Whereas Argentina will play, I think, Netherlands.
Have you seen the shootouts when they have a tie in the hockey? It's bloody brilliant.
It's not like soccer where the guy stands in the post.
No, they go from halfway back and they have 8 seconds.
They have a one-on-one game. It's incredible.
Yeah, one-on-one.
Can you imagine if soccer did that? Can you imagine if soccer did that?
It would be better. But when we beat Portugal, the girls, our keeper saved all 5. It was great. I think there's a wicket down. I think that it's not given. There's a massive shout. India is celebrating massively. If this is for a caught behind, the umpire's given it not out, and I imagine it's gone. Virat's referred it, and he's giving it. Virat's just given it out. He's just actually raised his finger to give it out. So
you wouldn't believe it. It looks like Australia haven't changed their side for the match against.
Oh, he hasn't hit it, Norman. I'm telling you now that Crawley has definitely not hit this. It has hit his front pad above the roll, but has he got outside the line? We're seeing are you watching this? Are you slightly behind me here?
No, I'm not. You describe it to me.
Okay, so they're showing the replay. He's definitely not hit it. If they went out for a caught behind, I'm telling you, they haven't gone to Snicko yet. Do they still call it Snicko? I'm telling you, he hasn't hit it. He's miles away, and it's hit him outside the line. He's not out, and it was missing the stumps anyway for LBW. So I'm afraid
that's your thoughts. It's not the final decision. That was.
So I'm telling you now that Virat standing there and actually giving it out. Actually, do you know what I'm saying? He stood there and put his finger up to give it out. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen a captain do that before.
What do you mean? I'm sure that's not that.
What, stand there, having referred it, and look at the umpire and give him the "it's out" signal. Well, it wasn't out. So I think they were appealing for a caught behind, and he wasn't within 3 inches of it. So yeah, so on Anderson,
so he's given it out.
Yeah, not out, definitely not out. Massive appeal.
This is Siraj's first over.
This is Siraj's first over. Yeah, I mean he's not.
No, it's not his first over. He's bowled quite a few. He's got none for 10.
Yeah, I mean if they put that, I think that was an appeal for a caught behind. Because it wasn't overly close to being LBW. It's hit him outside the line and going over the top. So it's not a great LBW shout.
They're showing it again.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be an LBW shout.
Well, he's not got anyone near hitting it, is he? But if you look at it, it's not. I mean, it's not an obvious LBW, Norman.
It's hit his front pad first, actually.
Outside the line. And then
it's hit his front pad first.
But it's hit his front pad, Norman, above the knee roll. Zach Crawley is 6'4" tall.
No, it's missed. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's a tall guy, Zach. He's 6'4", I think.
Still a good. Well, it was worth a shout.
It was a good decision, wasn't it? And that's worth a shout too. Maybe that's missed everything too. It's all going on. It's a brilliant session of cricket. Don't tell me that Test cricket's dead, Norman. He's going to burn another. He's going to burn another one here. Virat's talking to the keeper, Pants, telling him Virat's referred it. He's referred another one. I'm telling you, this isn't LBW.
Can I tell you this much? That's why I'm even more disgusted with 100 playing. It's insulting to have accomplished like 100 over the top of a test match.
But if he's done this, he's burnt both his reviews in one. It gets 2 or 3, might have 3.
That's a lot closer. That's a lot closer.
Well, it's not out LBW. I'm telling you now, it's not LBW. It's hit him on the thigh pad, on the back leg. That's going over the top by 3 feet. So they've gone up for a caught behind. I don't think he's hit that, Norman, has he? He might have done. We'll see. It'll go. This is closest to the back.
It was certainly.
There you go.
It's a rather stupid decision. It was stupid to go for it again.
He's out, Norman.
Is he out?
Out. There's a big snicko. You call it snicko? Ultra, as they call it in our country now. There's a big mark on snicko.
From bat onto the pad.
And they're going to give it out, I think. I'm waiting for the umpire. Umpire is on screen. And, well, we're waiting. He's giving it out. Crawley's gone. Batted pretty well.
So that was not... Were they going for the catch in the first place?
Well, they must have been, surely. They took a long time. They weren't clear, were they?
No. Well, he's out. Well, it was good. Bit of a gutsy thing from Coley then.
Because it's hit him on the pad. So it was a half a shout, I'd say. And then Coley, yeah, I mean, well, if you're looking at them, they weren't sure. They weren't sure. So it's funny going cricket, isn't it?
Yeah.
The ball before.
That's significant. That is significant now. That's significant because now there comes the test, how Root goes. And if he doesn't do well, then England will be in a bit of a slide.
Well, you say that. We've got some good players. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. Lawrence. I think we'll do well not to lose 4 wickets in the morning session, the way it's been zipping around.
The form we've got to go by with England's batting at the moment, I'm sorry, are 2 matches against New Zealand, which they were pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
That's the most recent test match you can go by form.
Pretty ordinary. I agree.
Okay. And Crawley and Sibley were the ones that usually get out cheaply. They've done a bit better this time, but
yeah,
if they get Root early, oh boy.
Well, in the first test against New Zealand, Sibley got 60 not out in the second innings, so he wasn't completely.
That was defensive mode when they needed someone to attack and win the match. He could be responsible.
I would have gone for it, wouldn't you? I was very disappointed we didn't have at least a try.
That was awful. Absolutely awful.
Joe Root, 8,700 test runs at 40, just a shade under 49.
Oh, he's got a great statistic. There's no fear about that.
but he's not been in form in this summer here because
But then earlier on the year, what sort of form was he in? There's double hundreds all over the joint.
That's a very nice shot from Sibley, by the way. That's a 4. He's just hit that. It was a full ball by Thacker on his pads, and he's hit that through just forward square for 4. Very nice shot. But if you're bowling it there at Sibley, you're going to get hit, I'm afraid. That's where you don't bowl at Dom Sibley on his legs. He's very strong. It's just gone just behind square for 4. Are we going to sign off, Norman? I'm aware you've been on for 3 hours.
No, we keep getting more people watching, which is funny.
Well, I mean, I don't know if the people who are watching have got live footage or whether they want us to talk about what's.
Well, we're doing that. We're actually doing a commentary, a form of commentary.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's because people who are watching can't see it. I don't know if they've got. I'm sure it's being.
Oh, there's no doubt. If people can see it, they wouldn't be necessarily watching us, I would imagine. Viewers, tell us.
They've just shown the replay of the wicket again, and they weren't sure. I'm telling you now. I think Pant thought it was out. Kohli wasn't sure.
Dom Sibley's record, he scored 200s and 550s. It's not exactly shocking, is it?
Yeah. No, but he.
Oh, gee, that moved around.
He doesn't convince Norman, does he? He's not a Cook or a Strauss or a Trescothick do you understand what I'm getting at? Or a Stewart. I mean, you remember Alex Stewart? I know I'm going back yes, I could be talking with Alan Mullally going back to now to the 90s.
But Alex Stewart was an annoying batsman. I never liked him. He scored a lot of runs, but I found him really annoying.
But he was positive, wasn't he?
But it was his dad that selected him. Wasn't it his dad that got him?
That's very harsh, Norman. Are you telling me that he was the leading...
So hang on. Alex Stewart was an aside because his dad was the chief chairman of selectors. That's a bit sus.
Are you telling me that the man who...
hang on a minute.
Stop, Norman, just a second. The
hang
man
on a minute.
who was the leading...
He had a long career.
...in the decade of the 1990s, scored more test runs than anyone else in the decade, 1990s.
His dad was the chairman of selectors.
He shouldn't have been in
how do you think Sutherland... How do you think Will Sutherland and his daughter both played for Australia? Isn't that a bit... Don't you think James Sutherland, who's the CEO of Cricket Australia, and his son Will Sutherland, who's not a bad player, but not that good, and his daughter, Annabelle Sutherland, they're both playing for Australia? That's sus.
Norman, Alex Stewart scored more runs in Test cricket than any other player in the decade of the 1990s. And you're telling me that he shouldn't have been in the side?
Yeah, I think he had a longer career than he should have, yes.
No, he was keeping wicket and
his dad was the chairman of selectors.
I will
if
not.
My
Norman,
dad was the chairman
Norman,
of selectors.
I can't have it. I can't have it. Alex Stewart, I was lucky enough to meet him and play with him on a game of cricket. He was a complete gentleman, a top bloke.
His dad was the chairman of selectors. I'm
sorry. He deserved it.
Hey, Daddy, I want to get picked, Daddy. Come on, Daddy. Just this one more time, Daddy. Mummy will be happy. Oh, come on.
You are unbelievable, Norman. That is a terrible, terrible thing to say.
Hang on. Have you looked at the Sutherland family? Both the son and the daughter playing for Australia? Oh, come on.
What was their record?
Come on.
Did they have a good record for Australia?
Will Sutherland has played. He hasn't lived up his expectation at all.
Well, Alex Stewart scored 8,000 test runs at an average of around about 43.
If you play 8,000 games, you'll score 8,000 runs, won't you?
Oh, I don't think he played 8,000.
No, okay, 7,999. He played a lot. He played 138 test matches, something outrageous.
He scored 8,000 runs.
He played. If you look how many tests he played, he played more than most players played. He's played more than Bobby Anderson has. The reality
is good.
He was in the side too long. He was also made captain. His dad would have penciled him in for a chocolate.
Oh dear. I think the people who are watching now think that you're a complete fool, Norman Kochnick. Eyes on cricket with Norman Kochnick, talking nonsense. Alex Stewart got 200s in the game against the West Indies in Barbados.
He played 138
to do that ever, I think. He scored against the West Indies pace attack. He got 100 in the first and 100 in the second.
Was his uncle the umpire?
Dear, oh dear. viewers from the man who thinks that Aaron Finch is going to be the next Australian.
So it was Alex. I think it was Alex Stewart was the godson of the two umpires.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
And his
Joe
next door
Root,
neighbour was
Joe Root v India, 1,789 runs at 54. Well, let's hope he can do a little bit more of that today, or not, as from whatever perspective you're looking at.
All right.
I like Siraj, by the way. We were talking about him, weren't we, Norman, in the shows in the last few weeks?
Yeah.
I think that Siraj will go for a few runs, but because he's trying to bowl quick.
He's attacking. He's got the right mindset.
Yeah, I do.
Whenever he bowls, something's happening.
I think in England, I think that's a good selection. I really do. I think that he's obviously got a wicket here, and he got it from a bit of pace, and I think that's very good.
All right, I meant to be doing cricket conversation with the Parnasani. We're supposed to be on. She's actually getting on her platform. I don't know where she is, but anyway. All right.
Are you meeting up with her again later, Norman? The little dinner and a quiet glass of wine with the partner?
So Bangladesh have got them announced their side. I'm doing some work here.
Yeah, I'm just talking about your
Bangladesh have just announced their side. Bangladesh are now the world killers. They've just beaten Australia. Yeah, how embarrassing. All right. I'm going to let you go, even though we've got more viewers than we can sink a ship with here.
Well, it's good that they're watching. Is there any more questions that they want quickly answered? I can't see them on the screen at all. They get annoyed. People get annoyed when you don't answer the questions, Norman.
Okay. And one over, two reviews, one say out, another say not out. Awesome. This is this one take 4 5 days or not? Or 3? I think 3.5.
Well, the weather's forecast is good. I'm telling everyone watching the weather forecast, there's a weather warning for Friday for thunderstorms and flash flooding, which they don't, again, in our country, you're never quite sure where that's going to hit and where it's not. But
flash flooding? What, on the Trent Bridge ground? No.
Yeah, well, there could be. There could be. So I tried to message you earlier. I was out, Norm. I don't know if you saw. The weather forecast for today's good. There could be a bit of rain at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, they're talking about dry tomorrow morning with showers in the afternoon. And Friday could be iffy.
But that still sounds like enough time to win a match.
I think there'll be plenty. If the ball's hooping around like this, that was a lovely shot. Root is that is class.
But I mean, if it continues like this, there'll be a result.
Root, I think if we get 3.5 days in, there'll be a result. I really do. Root is 12 off 6 balls here, Norman.
Would you write line up with line hyphen up, or would you just put line up without the hyphen?
Line up. I wouldn't put a hyphen in it.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I just think that there'll be a result. We keep saying that there'll be no result in draws. Then with Coley, Root, Williamson, and even Smith or whatever person we want to mention, the concept of a draw's out the window. Nobody plays for draws anymore.
When was the last time Coley scored 100? Do you know, Norman?
Not offhand. It's been a fair while.
Over 2 years, and it was against Bangladesh. And in the last 2 years, Coley's batting average is 28, I think. It's been tough for a lot of people. Pujara, I think, is averaging 18. Is it something like 18 or 19 in recent times? These are not easy times for batsmen in world cricket generally. In fact, Williamson's the only one really who's showing any class at all of the big boys, isn't he? Steve Smith's had a bit of a tough time, isn't he, as well?
That's true.
I mean, Williamson's streets ahead at the moment. Absolutely streets ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm now at 3 hours, 18 minutes.
I'll sign off. I chat too much. I'm in a chatty mood. Sorry, mate.
All right, guys. Well, so if you're available after the show, I'll send you a link. All right?
Lovely, mate. If you send me a link and you need someone to come on and talk a load of nonsense for an hour, then I'm your man. If you've got David Gravely and Monty
3 hours, and Alex Stewart, Dad was the selector.
I'll tell you what, I dare you to ask David Gravely. David Gravely would have been chairman of selectors in around about that period. He
wasn't chairman of selectors.
David Gravely. I dare you to ask to David Gravely. If not, I will come on and ask David Gravely the question.
And David Gravely would have been pressured by Alex Stewart's dad. Let him play.
dare you to say that. I dare you. You won't have the kahunas, normal Gotchnick.
I'll say it. Okay, one lucky good shot. Okay, all right.
See you
All the
soon,
best.
guys. Thank you.
Ciao. All right, guys. We've certainly been watching on that. We've gone for 3.5 hours here, guys. I'm starting to get tired, so I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Come back after the show. So view, like, and share the posts. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Notifications there. After the show, after the day's play at 6 p.m., which will be 6 p.m. England time, which is about 10:30 Indian time, or around about 3 in the morning Australian time. All the best, guys. Take care. Talk to you soon.